Yo, what's going on, y'all?
What's happening, everybody?
Welcome to Facemask Fantasy. Patrick Haas, you're 4-1 or 4-1, depending on how you look at it. But what's going on, man? How was your weekend?
Pretty damn good start. It was a good weekend. Hosted a couple of friends from out of town, so that was a good time. Went out on the town, watched the games on Sunday. Can't really complain. I know there was maybe like an internet outage that you were dealing with.
Yeah. Internet outage on Sunday morning, and it kind of ruined the whole Sunday because I couldn't watch any football until the second half of games. Halfway through the second half of games.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was watching the Bills Steelers game on my phone through the Fubo.tv app.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it sucks. But it is what it is. Mostly I'm disappointed that we couldn't stream with you guys on Sunday morning. I know we got to Saturday night. We had an impromptu Friday stream with you guys that some of you guys might have joined in on. And yeah, I mean it sucks. We missed the Sunday morning. Hopefully you guys got into the Discord and got your questions answered by either Nick or I. And hopefully you did well. Hopefully you did well, Patrick. I hope you won this week. You said you're argumentative and ready to go. You're gonna be a heckler. All right.
I'm feeling up to it.
Crumply Heads, good to see you.
To the point of Sunday, I mean, obviously we always want to give you guys as much of our availability during the season as we possibly can, but also there was an international game this week. There was a London game this week, so our availability on Sunday mornings can sometimes be a little limited anyway, and that's just something worth being aware of ahead of weeks with an international game, because I'm sure you guys yourselves, you want to watch the game too, first and foremost. So Sunday, it is obviously, again, we want to be here as much as we can, but you're dealing with an internet outage during a London game anyway. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. Unfortunate situation last weekend, and it's not going to be the norm. But this is why we have Discord. This is why we have some of these other avenues to get in touch with you guys, just in case one of these something happens, technologically speaking, that we can't address. So, yeah. Either way, I hope your weekend was good. I hope you made it out okay in terms of fantasy. And yeah, man, I'm ready to get right into it. The biggest news of the week is, of course, or at least one of the biggest pieces of news this week was Rashad Penny getting injured again.
Yeah.
Super bad luck for him again. It seems like as soon as he gets kind of a head full of steam, he gets injured, like right away. It happened when he was first starting to wrestle the job away from Chris Carson. It happened again when he was trying to return from the injury that he sustained in the first place, and then tore both of his ACLs, and then came back last year, finally was looking ready to go, and 8 games later, and over the last 8 games, he was the fantasy RB12. So he, over the last 8 games and played in the NFL, he's been an RB1.
He's been very solid, yeah.
It just really sucks to to see him have to deal with yet another injury, and he's 26 and he's going on 27, and it's not guaranteed that he's going to get another shot like he did in Seattle.
Yeah, and hadn't made a ton of noise this season outside of one spectacular game against Detroit, but few and far between as far as the actual production put up this year. You hope it's enough that he gets another contract, gets another opportunity. The injury luck that he has faced since entering the league is pretty brutal, and so you feel for the guy, and yeah, you hope he gets one more shot. But this is a fantasy show, and so we're gonna look at things first and foremost as it pertains to fantasy, and what this means is Kenneth Walker is a locked in top 20 option for the rest of the season.
Yeah, he is.
So I put a video out a little earlier. John got a short out, with a rapid reaction yesterday. I did a little bit more of a rest of season outlook. If you haven't seen that, if you want to check it out in the event, maybe Walker's on your wire, you're trying to figure out what to do. Spend all your FOB.
This is your Elijah Mitchell situation for this year. We were saying last week that there wasn't one yet. Mike Boone wasn't it.
It is now.
Melvin Gordon might have been the closest thing to it up till this point. Kenneth Walker is that guy now. Kenneth Walker is that. Spend all of your fab on this guy. This is your league-winning pickup from this season. We were waiting for one. We were thinking maybe this year it wasn't going to be one of the years where one of those guys pops up. But here we go. I mean, as soon as week 6, Kenneth Walker season.
That is something that is, unfortunately, for better or worse, it's almost expected with running backs. Somebody's going to go down.
And that's why you're holding on to an Eno Benjamin. That's why you're holding on to a Jalen
Alexander
Warren,
Madison,
Isaiah Pacheco, Alexander Madison, right? Your Zamir Whites, all those guys.
Your
the guys that are
Herberts.
1A handcuffs to incumbents. A guy we haven't talked about a lot, Samaje Perine. He's one of those guys if you're looking in redraft for this season. So if you have the choice between a 6th or 7th wide receiver on your bench or one of these lottery ticket handcuff running backs,
you take the running back.
Take the running backs. Yep.
You take the running back. And we're seeing it come to fruition. Javonte Williams out for the season. Rashad Penny out for the season. James Conner left his game early, left week 5 early. David Montgomery has already missed a game. This is why like you said, Kenneth Walker is probably on most rosters in 10
at this
and
point.
12 team leagues, 8 team leagues. If you play in an 8 team league, Walker's probably available. Some 10 team leagues, but probably not most. That being said, if he is available, all your FOB. And if he's on a roster, that buy low window, that's the sound of that slamming shut.
We have to look at the Seahawks a little bit differently this year. They're looking good. We weren't ever expecting this run game, this offense to look anywhere near as good as it has through 5 weeks. Geno Smith's been borderline on fire, been a top 6 quarterback.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett has picked up where he left off with Russell Wilson. No difference between really his production without and with Russell Wilson. DK Metcalf has continued to put out strong showings with Geno Smith at the helm, which what he did in the 4 games where Geno Smith filled in for Russell Wilson last season. Geno Smith just hadn't shown that connection with Tyler Lockett. He has it with both of his wide receivers. And that's going to benefit the run game, especially when it's being funneled down to, all the work is being funneled down to really one player in Kenneth Walker. Now, DJ Dallas is going to get a little bit of work in there. But Travis Homer is on IR with a broken rib. Chris Carson, we already know we're not going to see on the football field again.
He is retired.
It's Kenneth Walker, 70-plus snap share season. Now, they'll probably pick up a vet. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up a who's it? Alex Collins, right? Like who's a guy like that where they just
get them through the season.
Right. And I say him because he was already on their team a few years ago.
Or is there a running back on their practice squad
Devonta
right
Freeman,
now?
somebody like that. But It's Kenneth Walker's season. They drafted him early in the second round, I believe.
They also have Darwin Thompson on their practice squad for what it's worth, so he might just get called up.
There you go.
So, yeah. And this is not a situation where, I mean, Seattle's won a couple games here, but I don't think they're blind to the fact that this is still very much a transition season for them. They're not going to be trading draft capital for, Christian McCaffrey, who now some people expect the Panthers to potentially look to move in the wake of Matt Rule being fired. But McCaffrey's 26. The Seahawks are in transition. He doesn't fit their long-term plans. So this is Walker's backfield. They're not going to bring a vet in to do that dance. Right. So anyway, spend all your FOB if he's available. Spend your number one waiver priority if he's available. If there's any other questions or anything you want to talk about as it pertains to Walker, we can do that. But there are some questions in this chat, and I think we should engage.
Yes, sir. Patrick Hosier, first off, I'm not sure what you're getting at there. Not real sure what you're getting at there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm just not sure what you're getting at there.
Yeah.
Maybe clarify if it's a point you really feel like you need to make.
Yeah.
Otherwise, maybe you don't need to make a
We'll
point.
keep it moving.
Vision, what do you do with Khalil Herbert? I need the running back help since David came back, and I don't know if or who I trade him for since he's not getting the usage.
Don't trade Khalil Herbert.
You're selling low now that David Montgomery is back. So don't sell Khalil Herbert.
And this is what happens to the backup running backs, right? When it's not a long-term or season-ending injury for the starter. He's good for 1 week. And then, I thought Herbert was a little more playable despite Montgomery's return because he's been getting work while Montgomery's been healthy.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't pan out this week. That's going to happen for backup running backs. There's going to be weeks where they do nothing. Don't trade Herbert. He's still valuable running back depth. Now, depending on your current situation, I would need to see the whole roster.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of Khalil Herbert. He showed the upside that he has when there's no David Montgomery in the fold.
Yeah.
And David Montgomery's not getting older. He is only 24, 25, but he's not getting older. Has gotten banged up in recent years. Has been banged up as soon as a few weeks ago. And honestly, this coaching staff, everybody knows it. The reason why you're asking about Khalil Herbert right now, Vision, is because we know that he looks better than David Montgomery. Just like Tony Pollard has for 3 years looked better than Zeke.
Better than Zeke, yep.
Lots of times these coaching staffs don't see legitimately what's right in front of them with respect to the talent on their own teams. The Bears are case in point here. And, it's disappointing because I was expecting Khalil Herbert to get a little bit more run, even with David Montgomery back. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But that doesn't mean to get rid of him, because now's not the time to sell low on Khalil Herbert. Fabian Verka, good to see you. You lost your matchup in...
Gabe and Chubb,
yeah,
were two tough guys to go against collectively this week.
There was a couple of guys. If you had Travis Kelce, if you had Gabe Davis, if you had Nick Chubb,
Dalvin Cook,
yeah,
then you probably won.
Yeah. Josh Allen.
Well,
yeah.
It is what it is. Sometimes you hit a buzzsaw of a matchup. There's nothing else you could do but tip your cap and keep it moving, right? It's okay. Plenty of season left.
And no worries about the early questions. It's all good, Vision. That's what we're here for.
Questions are what you're here for. That's what we're here to hopefully help with. So
absolutely.
You're good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate about Penny's career. Hopefully he can get back on track. Honestly, I think with the hesitancy that the NFL had in giving him a contract this season, we expected him to go elsewhere, another place outside of Seattle. Ended up going back to Seattle. I think this year or next year, I honestly think Seattle just re-ups with him again, because he'll be even cheaper, and he's relatively well ingrained in this organization, And I feel like they're just going to run it back. So this technically, for me, clouds the waters a little bit on Kenneth Walker's future. And this is a lot of speculation, but I do think that Rashad Penny is just going to end up back in Seattle. Because he hasn't shown enough for another organization to be like, yeah, I want to pay that guy a few $1 million. Where he can go back home and get another vet minimum. But for this season, Kenneth Walker is on RB2 with RB1 upside. And Penny, bad luck. He'll get another shot. He's talented enough to get another shot. He'll get another shot.
I hope so.
He'll get another shot.
I hope so. I don't know that I'm like, yeah, I hope so. That's all I'll say. I hope so.
If we see guys like Raheem Mostert getting legitimate shots at 29, 30, Mark Ingram, right? Melvin Gordon getting considerable run. I think Penny's going to get another shot at age 27. Mm-hmm. Same age as Leonard Fournette and James Conner. So, the Patrick Haas, where do we rate Chase Edmonds at this point?
Gross.
Kind of. Yeah.
I mean, he's had one usable week, right? Week 3. Only turned 6 carries into 21 yards, but he was like the goal line guy that week, got 2 touchdowns. Caught another touchdown week 4, but had 20 total yards. That's barely a flex play, even with the touchdown. And then this past week, he bottoms out 1 carry, 1 yard, 2 targets. Neither, doesn't catch a single one. Raheem Mostert is looking good in that backfield. I guess I wouldn't drop just yet because he's got some favorable matchups upcoming by the numbers, including the Lions. You have to wait till week 8, but it is the Lions.
Well, I mean, my issue here is like, of course you're not dropping him. Who are you? Yeah, who are you picking up outside of a Kenneth Walker, who's going to give you the upside that Chase Edmonds presents if an already relatively injury-prone and aging Raheem Mostert gets injured? Mm-hmm. If that happens, it's the Chase Edmonds show. Who are you dropping for that upside? It sucks you drafted him to be your RB3, your flex play, maybe your RB2 in a 0 RB build. I hope you were able to pick up Mostert. You're not dropping Chase Edmonds unless it is for a league winner in Kenneth Walker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Timian Bashkarov, the JT was a 3-way and got denied by one of the guys. That's the JT trade?
Taylor trade from last week.
Okay. But you picked up Pollard off of waivers because some guy just dropped him. Hey, that's a win. That's a win.
Yup. Don't worry about the trade. You got a good guy off waivers who shouldn't have been there anyway.
Not JT caliber, but still, not even going to say close, but I mean, you got a very good player for free. Mm-hmm. Richie Rich, what's going on, man? Top 3 waivers, Eno, Taysom, and Rondale Moore. Is Gainwell droppable for any of these guys?
It depends on who your tight end is. It's tough to chase the Taysom points.
I think Taysom's playable.
He's playable. I guess it depends on who your tight end is.
If you don't, let's go through the list of tight ends you would rather have over Taysom. Obviously, the top 3.
Kelsey
Andrews, Pitts, Kittle. Not Pitts.
Kittle,
I don't know Hawkinson, Goddard, Higbee right now.
Higbee.
I would rather have Higbee.
That might be it.
Gerald Everett. I would still rather have Gerald Everett.
Yeah, Everett had a bad week this past week, but he's been pretty solid. And Keenan Allen continues to have hamstring injuries or issues.
But outside of those guys, Pat Freiermuth, outside of those guys, if you don't have a top 8 tight end, I would rather have Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Rich, it depends on your situation. Do you need a spot start at running back this week? Then Eno. Is your wide receiver depth lacking? Rondale Moore has immediately gone back to being an every down player for the Cardinals. So do you need a wide receiver 3 depends on what you need the most, right? So based on what your biggest need is, then yes, I'm not crazy about dropping Gainwell, but if he's the last guy on your bench and you need one of these dudes, then sure.
I'm not dropping Gainwell for Rondale Moore. I like what Rondale Moore has shown since coming back, but I have to be wary of the fact that DeAndre Hopkins is coming back right around the corner, and those 8 targets that Rondale Moore got, those targets could be cut in half. Those targets could be halved by the time DeAndre Hopkins comes back into the offense, or as, byproduct of DeAndre Hopkins coming back into the offense. I would rather have, again, the running back lottery ticket that is Gainwell in case something happened to Sanders. Eno, if I needed a guy to start right now at running back, I'd do it. They're pretty much a 1-to-1 comp in redraft for me right now. And Taysom if I didn't have a top 7 or 8 tight end.
Yeah.
But if I do, I'm keeping Gainwell.
And real quick, Vision, you joined the Discord. First of all, welcome to the Discord.
Thanks for joining the Discord, man.
And posted his team. You have Kelsey, which is great, but you also have Higbee. Trade Higbee for a depth running back. That being said, you've got Raheem Mostert, Breece Hall, and Josh Jacobs. Now, Jacobs is on bye this week, but after that, you're fine for now. You're fine for now because Breece took over that role. Mostert took over his team's role, and Jacobs looks spectacular right now. So trade Higbee for a depth running back, and you're fine because you have Kelsey.
Agree. Yep.
Yeah, you're fine.
No need to not roster another tight end if you have Kelsey,
right?
Or Andrews.
Yeah. Bye week, and that's it. Bye week, and that's it. Higbee is a tradable asset for you right now, Vision, for any depth running back that you can, whoever the best option is that you could possibly get. So whoever's got slop at the tight end position, maybe target the Darren Waller person who's probably frustrated that he got hurt again last night and now he's on bye. What type of depth running backs does the Darren Waller person have? I would do that and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Hawkinson had a bad game last week. You could go right back to that well, considering you've seen him have 30-point upside this season.
And he's on bye this week, so yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, there you go.
And yeah, Vision, Patrick, the Penny thing is, it sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope he gets back to playing strength.
Yeah,
sooner than later.
He didn't screw himself. He didn't ask to be hurt. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Cameron B. You keep managing to lose in nail biter matchups. You're 2-3 at this point. Man. Sucks to hear. It happens to the best of us. Would you suggest I make any roster moves to shake things up? I'll list my roster below 16 team full PPR. Burrow, CMC, Saquon, AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Kareem Hunt. Your bench is Ayuk, KJ Osborne, Dawson Knox, Madison Hines, Daniel Jones, Elijah Mitchell, and you're stashing J-Mo.
I don't hate. So Patrick down below said moving Cooper for and a piece for a better wide receiver. It would have to be Chase right now because Higgins re-aggravated his injury in game Sunday night. So yeah, I mean that's fine, and especially because you have Burrow. I mean, hell, you might be able to, if you wanted to, see if you could trade even fewer pieces for a Tyler Boyd, who at least is healthy and would still be a stack. But that being said, you're looking to upgrade. So I don't know, Cooper and Osborne. But again, you don't want to trade for Higgins right now. And whoever has Chase is most likely not going to trade Chase. I mean, I think this team is you're strong at running back. AJ Brown had a dud week, whatever. Amari Cooper had a good week. I don't know if I'm making
I don't know if I'm making a move.
I'm not going. Yeah, I'm not panicking with this. 2-3 is not a record to. Obviously, we all want to be 4-1, right? We all want to be that, but 2-3 is hardly anything to feel like you need to shake your team up over.
And you invested in a fair amount of Browns players, knowing that you had to, and having been investing in those Brown players, knowing that those players weren't going to reach their ceiling until week 12.
Yeah. Which
is perfect if you're in the playoff hunt, if you're ready for, making and you just throw them in there and they're, they're playoff makers for your team. But your team is fine knowing that it's not yet at full strength and you're basically at 500.
Yeah.
And Elijah Mitchell will be coming back soon.
And if you're losing close games, that's going to course correct over the course of the season, right? Like, yeah, you're competing, you're fine. You have 2 of the top 5 running backs right now. You're good.
And a top 3 wide receiver right now, even though he didn't fire last week. And honestly, I know people are super into stashing Jameson Williams right now. If you have him stashed, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea to have him stashed, but if you have him stashed, he's somebody that you can package with a depth bench player too to get a better starter as well. He is all upside right now, and you can capitalize on that. Because, what if he doesn't reach his upside in 2022? People don't know whether he will or won't. You can trade him and one of your depth pieces for maybe a wide receiver 2 on a strong wide receiver team. Or a guy that you think is a wide receiver 2, that the other team might not.
Yeah.
So, that's really the only thing that I am entertaining here. I almost don't even want to package Amari Cooper for somebody.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, Tamian, I see you're trying to trade away Kenneth Walker right now. It better be for an RB1. I would be careful with that. I'm
not necessarily trying to do that.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm getting an RB1, like a bona fide RB1, then that's one thing. But I'm not crazy about trading Walker right now.
Yeah, if somebody's willing to give me, CMC or Saquon for Kenneth Walker and Amari Cooper, then I'm willing to move Amari Cooper, or Kenneth Walker. But until that happens, man, I think I'm standing pat.
I would. Yeah, I need a dude right now. I need a bell cow.
What's the
Walker.
trade you're trying to get accepted?
I see it down below. Dubs, you're trying. This is a monster move or attempt. You're trying to trade Dubs, ETN. I don't like that either. Walker, McKenzie, Robinson, DJ Moore. So a bunch of wide receiver 3s.
And Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen, but that's the defensive player, not the quarterback. For Taylor, DK, and Parsons.
I'm not doing that, man. I'm sorry.
That's a lot to give up. I know DJ Moore and A-Rob are kind of meh.
But I'm more worried about the ETN, Walker, Josh Allen side of things.
I mean,
I have no issues trying to move McKenzie, A-Rob, and DJ Moore and make it DK. Moving Josh Allen, making it Parsons, that's a step in the right direction. Trading Dubs to do it, okay. Trading Dubs and ETN to do it, okay. Trading Dubs and McKenzie to do it, or Walker to do it, okay. Trading all 3 of those players right now, Dubs, ETN, and Walker, I can't do that.
Dicey.
I can't do that. Love the fact that you're thinking, let's go big or go home. Let's make a blockbuster here. I just feel like sometimes giving somebody like a 6-for-2 trade or whatever, you end up just giving up too much just by nature of the math involved. Not even player values at that point. But bottom line, not really, we're not advocating you trade Kenneth Walker. Patrick saying try to shoot Amari Cooper in a bench piece for Cincy. Wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, if you can.
I got to, it's
if you can.
If you can, but the guy has to be chased because Higgins got hurt.
Yeah.
Um,
hey,
What's up, A?
Would you trade Hopkins and Breece Hall for Aaron Jones and Sutton in full PPR? You have Hopkins and Hall.
What did Sutton do Thursday night?
Yeah, the best game of any wide receiver on that side of the...
Well, that's, yeah, I mean...
He's the wide receiver 12, 9-point week, but he's the wide receiver 12 overall. He's been a low-end wide receiver 1 all year.
Yeah, in a tough matchup, 5 for 74.
Which is honestly what you're hoping from Hopkins when he comes back. He was the wide receiver 10 all season last season when he was healthy. We're not really expecting him to be the top 6 wide receiver of old, but we are expecting him to be at least a low-end wide receiver 1, which is what you already have in Sutton.
No, he doesn't have Sutton. He has Hopkins and Hall.
Right, but if you were comparing the two sides of the deal, so to me it's, do you want Breece Hall right now or do you want Aaron Jones right now? Because really you're getting low-end wide receiver 1 production from either of those wide receivers once they're healthy. For the rest of the year, would you rather have Breece Hall or Aaron Jones?
Oh man.
Tough decision.
That's tough.
Aaron Jones is the RB13 right now.
I mean, he's just, that's what he does.
Right.
Jones. I'd rather have Jones, but it's damn close. Breece Hall looks spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, Breece Hall just hasn't had the ceiling week yet that Aaron Jones had when he had the 30-point week in week 2.
Well, he had it this past week.
Yeah, but there was still, like, he left.
Dude, he had
technically had 2 touchdowns left on the table.
Yards.
He technically had 2 touchdowns left on the table. There was room for more for Breece.
And he still ended up with almost 200 total yards.
Like
I'll say it. I love Aaron Jones. I'd rather have Breece.
Yeah, I think I would too. And
I'd rather have Breece.
I feel like that is a little bit of us like jumping the gun on the hype and being too hype for him. But on the other side of the token, like we're hype about Breece Hall for a reason.
Breece's fantasy playoff or Breece's schedule from weeks 12 to 17. Chicago, Minnesota. Week 14, he's got a brutal matchup on the road in Buffalo, but that's not a playoff week. The fantasy playoffs. Home against Detroit. Home against Jacksonville. Championship week, he's on the road in Seattle. Breece. I want Breece. I'm holding, and I'm not taking that deal.
Yeah, I'm holding
I'm not taking that deal.
Just be patient with Hopkins. You got him onto your team for a reason. You knew when he was going to be back all year. You're getting a wide receiver 1 when he comes back. Just hold.
Yep, just hold.
Sad J, just here to admit you dropped Kenneth Walker this week after you drafted him all man, and you kept Brian Robinson because you wanted to believe that the 2 shots couldn't stop him. So how could a defense? I like the analogy there, but
it's an injury. There's no predicting that can possibly be made here. It is what it is. We've all been there. We've all made drops. We've all dropped players at inopportune times.
Yeah. Yep.
Even though we had a reason for it initially, it's not, I wouldn't beat yourself. There's an injury. Nobody can predict injuries. Even guys like Rashad Penny, nobody can sit here and say, I knew he would get hurt. Nobody can say that.
Right. And hey, you never know. Maybe Brian Robinson just comes in and lights it on fire and just,
Yeah, maybe Robinson hasn't had his
we haven't seen
week yet.
We haven't seen him touch the ball yet. So
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we saw him this past week, but we haven't seen him yet.
Yes, that's what I meant. My bad. But yeah,
he did actually literally touch the ball.
He did.
But not do anything with it. But in week 1, game 1, he's like starting pretty much from scratch.
Yeah, the book is not written on these 2 players in their seasons.
Nah, not even close. Not even close.
No, we are predicting that Kenneth Walker does a little bit more for the rest of the year than Brian Robinson, but it's technically a possibility that doesn't happen, and it's the other way around. So we just got to wait. And, hey, you also have Kupp, Keenan Allen, Deontay Johnson, Drake London as my wide receivers, David Montgomery, Kamara, James Robinson as my running backs. Yeah, stay pat.
Don't make the trade.
Stay pat, you're fine. Yep. You're all right. Yep. I know not having Keenan Allen at the same time has probably sucked, but Kupp, Deontay, and Drake London as your wide receivers.
You're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
Iron, what's going on, man? Space Navigator season.
Did what did he do this he was also on Thursday. Who did he do?
Space Navigator? I don't get it.
Strachan or didn't he go to space with Bezos? Michael Strachan?
What, did he?
I think so.
Okay.
Or that was the joke. I don't know. What did he do this past week? Did he emerge over Paris Campbell? Not that that's that hard. Oh, he didn't do anything.
I know Alec Pierce did something.
Oh, well, maybe it was him. I don't know. Pierce is on the deep streaming radar officially. Deep league.
And it is confounding as hell because Michael Pittman still hasn't technically gone off since week 1. Yet Alec Pierce is getting the check down, the apple of my eye treatment from Matt Ryan. It legitimately doesn't make sense.
Matt Ryan.
I cannot believe that Alec Pierce is that much better than Michael Pittman to where this is really a thing now.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yep.
Quarterbacks don't always key on the guy that we think that they're going to key on.
Yeah.
It is a weird development. Plus, Matt Ryan is cooked.
Yeah, that too.
Fabian,
good job for being 5-0.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But don't make that trade. Don't sell your entire team. Fabian, sometimes, unfortunately, that just happens.
Now, did we help you pick the best player out of the bad totals?
I don't think any of them were worth it.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't think any of them were worth it.
Yeah, that it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
And yeah, Vision, we saw your team on Discord.
Next week.
Very solid squad. Rojo, you
What's
just
up,
want to
bro?
vent for a second. These terrible roughing calls. Yeah, man.
I feel it. The call against Chris Jones was egregious. The call against Grady Jarrett was egregious. I'm all for player safety. I will always side on, the best. I mean, look, it's a violent game, right? It's a physical game. That plays a large part into why we love it. But you can't turn this into flag football. Or if you're going to, then just go all in. If you're gonna make this flag football, then just make it flag football. Like,
I mean, we have an overreaction to the last few weeks where we've seen Tua and we saw Hines and we saw, like, wasn't there another concussion in there?
Yeah.
This is reactionary. I think I don't even think the calls from last night where I think those were reactionary calls.
To protect, like, way out, like, what?
Yeah,
way overstepping to protect the quarterback.
Yes, somebody lost their job, an independent arbitrator or whatever, with respect to concussions, lost their job.
Doctor.
Jobs and their professional ability is coming into question here, and nobody wants to be the guy on the other side of the barrel. So people are just, as soon as they see anything with regards to roughing calls and player safety, they're calling it because they don't want to be the next domino to fall in that area. And honestly, like, I can't say that I wouldn't do the same thing. Now, it sucks to watch, but I also can't get mad at the Chiefs getting a roughing call. I can't get mad at the Chiefs getting a call. I can't get mad at the Chiefs. 13 seconds. I can't get mad at the Chiefs. They still pulled it out. I can't get mad at the Chiefs. Like, sometimes that's just how, that is also just sometimes how the game is. You get calls. Sometimes you get calls. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes they work for in your favor. Sometimes they don't. And it sucks. But it is what it is.
I understand the being frustrated with this, though, because at the end of the day, those were football plays. Like, safe. That's how you're taught how to do it. Football plays. I understand from the perspective of being a defensive end, or I don't understand in the literal sense.
I was just going to say, what?
I don't understand in the literal sense, but I can sympathize with the fact that knowing the rule and knowing what defensive players have to go through to be able to appropriately play defense and then to still get the call against them when they do everything right. Yeah, the NFL's got a problem on its hands.
Yeah, I
feel like
but I don't know. I don't know how they fix it with the things that are happening right now with certain players and their health moving forward. I don't know how you fix that. From an NFL perspective, I don't know how you fix that. So these are things we're gonna continue to see this happening.
Yeah, until you start playing flag football, this is gonna happen. And that's my answer. I'm saying this in jest. I'm not saying this as like, yes, let's do this. I'm saying this in jest, but also for real. Put the flags on. Let's stop tackling if that's how it's going to be. My vent is over about this. Let's keep it moving.
No, Rojo, we feel the same way. It sucks. But it's going to keep happening. It is. Yep. So you're going to have to get used to it, I guess. Iron, in 2 leagues, you're 5-0, but you got beat up every week in the get beat up every week in the Facemask League. Hey, bro.
I got him pretty good this past week.
I can't catch a break either, so I'm with you. My team is straight trash. Like it's so bad. It's so bad. Sad J agrees with Rojo. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people.
There's going to be a lot of people who agree. There's going to be a lot of people who agree. I do too. I do as well. It's frustrating.
Yeah, obviously you want to take headhunting out of the game, but when somebody's doing everything right and you're still penalizing them, then how do you proceed? It sucks for everybody involved. But also,
both of those guys did the
player
right thing.
Safety is the most important thing here. At the end of the day, we do have to continue to hammer that home. Richie Rich, thoughts on Najee trying to trade him away in any trade advice? Who I should go get?
Hold. He's about to play. I think Najee's about to play like.
Would you rather
Tampa.
have Najee or Kenneth Walker?
Najee.
Okay. I was just a question. I wanted to just a heat map,
Got the Buffalo game out of the way. He's playing Tampa this week. After that, things soften up. Weather this storm. You're not going to get a good offer for him right now. Just hold. Just weather this storm. You could bench him this week against Tampa if you're feeling so inclined.
Right, and then he plays. And then he gets a bye.
It softens up.
And then the Saints, still a tougher defense. Then the Bengals softens up, yes.
It softens up, and those games
and then
are
the Colts. So yes, it does soften up a little bit there, but
you're probably selling low right now, and I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I'm almost to the point of like, is it really ever going to get better? I'm really concerned about Najee's rest of season, or are you really going to be playing him and hoping for 10 points a game, which is what you basically hope for with every other player, which basically makes Najee every other player.
You're not going to get it. What are you going to get for him right now? If I offered you Najee Harris for Kenneth Walker, would you take it?
Me, no, but there's somebody out there, with the name recognition there.
And for me, that feels like a sell low. So I'm not trading him yet. Get past this Tampa game first, and then we can talk. That's how I feel.
Like 9 points, 11 points, 11 points, 7 points, 5 points.
Yeah, it's been bad. I understand.
Snap share went down to 49% last week.
But you spent a first-round pick on him, and you just said no to. I know that the situation has changed as it pertains to Kenneth Walker, but this is a guy we project to be top 20 optimistically. Najee is a guy that you expect to have a floor of low-end RB1. I'm not trading him yet, especially because you are not going to get close to what the cost, or what you should be able to ask of him. Or ask for him. I'm not moving him.
You're not wrong. I mean, you're selling low, and you're not going to get back what you need to get back when you're selling a Najee Harris, a guy you'd probably drafted in the first or early in the second round. So, yeah, it sucks on what you do with him. Do you continue to just roll him out there for 5 to 11 points, or do you try to trade him, package him, knowing you're taking a loss just to get a better starter? Like, that's where I'm at. Like, are we there yet with Najee, where you're going to take a little bit of a hit, and the projections in terms of your win-loss for the rest of the year based off of the trade because you're losing two good players and gaining two decent players and gaining one. Like, that might hurt, but is that just a move you make for the betterment of your roster moving forward? You're not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm wondering whether or not you just cut bait because it might not be getting better, even though the schedule is lightening up, yes, it kind of is. But it also, like, how much lightening up is there to be had? It gets right back to being a hard schedule at the end of the year. I don't know. I'm waiting one more week before I'm really entertaining trading him, but I think I might be there. I might be pretty close.
Yeah.
Juke Collier, thoughts on this trade? Amon-Ra, Jalen Hurts, and George Pickens for Michael Pittman, Brady, Joe Mixon, and Romeo Doubs.
The Hurts side, not close.
Yeah, you're giving up too many good players here, bro.
Pittman, Brady, Mixon, and Doubs are not worth Amon-Ra, Hurts, and Pickens right now. That feels weird to say, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 for 3 is enticing sometimes just to get better players on your team, or a larger amount of good players on your team, not better players on your team. But Amon-Ra and Jalen Hurts, like, Jalen Hurts is a top 2 quarterback right now. Amon-Ra, when he's healthy, is a top 8 wide receiver right now. And George Pickens is trending up. Michael Pittman has been a top 24 wide receiver. Tom Brady has been a top 24 quarterback. Joe Mixon has been, I don't even know. I think he's a top.
He's underperformed.
I think he's a high-end RB2 right now. And Romeo Doubs has been opportunistic, but it can go Lazard's way. You can go Christian Watson's way literally at a moment's notice. I'd much rather have the Hurts Amon-Ra side.
Mixon has a couple, or one RB1 week, one like low end RB1 week, and then some like RB2 flex plays. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which Juke didn't specify which side they'd be getting. Regardless, I'm keeping the Hurt side. I'm keeping the Hurt side if I have it. I'm acquiring it if I can.
Yes. Yep. And yeah, like Mixon, you look at his like Tampa Bay, New England, Buffalo, Baltimore in his final 4 weeks of the year. Terrible, terrible playoff schedule, man.
That's pretty gross. I mean, Mixon's good enough to and he's the type of dude where you start in that scenario, but damn,
you don't want to. You don't
feel good.
Nah.
You don't feel good. Yeah. So,
and yes, Jay, call was ridiculous. We'll see what happens. Yep. Not much we can do except keep watching. Iron, do I drop Khalil Herbert and pick up a kicker with Carlson on bye, or do I drop Carlson and stream a kicker from now on? I think you drop Carlson and stream a kicker, man.
I would just drop Carlson.
Yeah.
I would just drop Carlson. I know he had a monster game last night, but I wouldn't hold a kicker to drop a depth running back.
So we got 2 Taysom Hill questions here. And Rojo, I'm going to start it off with you here. The Saints finally played Hill how I thought they would the week that Kamara was out, but I think they didn't because Dalton played and Taysom was a backup. Now, just Dalton, right? D-A-A-D? Thinking that's
Dennis
Dalton.
Allen.
Dennis Allen, just at this point. Fair. And Hill over Hurst this week.
Who are the Saints? The Saints are playing at home against the Bengals. It's going to depend on what is the status of Jameis Winston, right? I think Hill gets a little bit more run when the backup quarterback is in. I'm not sure what the most recent news is about Winston and his return to play. I would just express that somewhat side of caution. Like,
yeah.
Like, I know Hill absolutely went ballistic last week. Keep in mind, guys, we said this last week. The Seattle Seahawks can't stop a nosebleed. Prior to this past week, Taysom Hill had half PPR fantasy weeks of 8.1, 0, 1.4, and he had a decent game against Atlanta week 1. Like, the matchups are favorable, but like I'm not. This feels like one of those out-of-body experiences for Taysom Hill that he has 3 or 4 times a year. Next week he'll get you 5 fantasy points. Like, yeah.
No, I kind of think it's gonna be a decent stretch for him over the next few weeks, and then it's gonna come back to earth real hard, and you're just gonna have to deal. But Cincy next week, then Arizona, then Las Vegas, then Baltimore. Those are all weeks where, I mean, if Michael Thomas is out and they keep utilizing Alvin Kamara the way that they have, which is weird, even if he's dealing with some sort of injury, it's like, what? Like, I think he could get a decent amount of run here. I mean, 9 attempts, he seems to be getting, like, you can't deny it at this point. He's the Cordell Patterson of tight ends.
I don't deny that.
I think for the next 4 weeks, you kind of just, like, as long as Andy Dalton's in play here, which he is for the next week, and reevaluate the week after that, for the next 4 weeks, he's on the streaming radar with Cincy, Arizona, Las Vegas, and Baltimore on the schedule.
Call me stubborn, call me a hater. I don't care. If Taysom Hill succeeds, it will not be on my team.
Oh, I would agree with you. I'm trying not to start him.
Of course, I'm not chasing.
If I don't have a top 8 option, I am going to Taysom Hill, but I am desperately hoping I have a top 8 option.
Yeah.
So Hill over Hurst this week, yeah, because Hurst isn't a top 8 option. But I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I am never gonna feel comfortable playing Taysom Hill. Period.
No. Nope. We got lots and lots of questions and comments in the chat. So again, as always, if you're new or whether you're not new, just a friendly reminder, we do get to every question. We just ask for some patience. Please don't, I don't see anybody posting multiple questions or spamming the chat. I appreciate that. Just letting everybody know. We will get to every question. Just sit tight.
And we can start speeding this up a little bit here.
Yeah. Play Taysom at your own risk.
Up a little bit here.
Yeah. Play Taysom at your own risk. That's all. That's the last thing I'll say.
Agreed. And you led with 31 points and then played Jacobs. Dude, Jacobs
is an RB1.
He qualifies as a zero RB target league winner at this point.
0 RB league winner. He looks great.
He looks awesome. He might be playing himself into getting another contract on the Raiders.
Yes. Yeah. And if not the Raiders, somebody else.
Yeah.
Yup. Jacobs is looking just fine for 2023. And it was easy to get caught into the offseason trap I won't call it a trap, offseason noise as far as like, what does his future hold? Decline, played in the Hall of Fame game, blah, blah, blah. That all turned out to be, and I'm not going to, I didn't call this. I'm just saying it turned out to be preseason nonsense.
You have to remember in the offseason with players that have a large enough sample size, look at the sample size.
Right. Yeah.
And is there reason to ignore the reporting news of the day? Josh Jacobs had the sample size to lead us to believe that we should be ignoring all the dumb reports about him not being involved at all.
Yeah.
Like he's just a new part of the, he's new to the organization. The organization is new. So of course they don't want to tie themselves to a running back they don't really know yet to see how he fits in. That's where we should have gone with that narrative.
Yeah. Should have been pounding the table to trade Zamir White for a first-round pick. Not that it probably would have happened, but
Stranger things.
Jacobs looks great.
And you don't need to roster Kmet.
Nobody needs Kmet. Nobody needs Kmet.
Bellinger is intriguing, but I'm not trying to roster him yet. I'm not trying to play him yet. I'm really not.
Yeah, but Bellinger's a much better. If you have to hold one, Bellinger is, and it's not even a conversation.
No. Agreed.
Kmet is, I don't mean this personally, but Kmet is, from a fantasy perspective, is worthless.
He has gone the way of Adam Troutman.
Yeah, he got a touchdown.
he did. Back from the dead.
He's back from the dead.
Vision, I'm glad you think so. Much appreciated.
Appreciate it.
Patrick Haas, what can I do right now? You got Hurts, Brian Robinson, J.K. Dobbins, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Zach Ertz, A.J. Brown, Kareem Hunt, San Francisco defense, Chase Edmonds, Pacheco, Herbert.
Nothing.
What do you do now?
You could
drop
trade,
Julio,
fine.
But that's about it.
Yeah, you drop Julio. He's not worth the roster spot.
Julio. Oops. Yes.
Trade
drop
Bateman,
Julio.
Hunt.
That's it. No, I'm not trading anybody on this team.
You might want a running back. If your starters are Brian Robinson and J.K. Dobbins, you might want a running back.
Okay, package J-Mo and Brian Robinson for somebody.
Fine.
I bet you can do that.
Off of the hype.
Yeah.
Uh-oh,
yeah.
We might be getting spammed. We're getting bots. We're getting the
all
fucking
right.
bots.
All right, we need our mods to step up. Jeb, should I trade Jonathan Taylor for Gabe Davis and Aaron Jones? Ooh. I'm very close to saying yes.
I missed it because I was killing the bots. What's the question?
Jonathan Taylor for Gabe Davis and Aaron Jones.
If
Aaron
you're
Jones, the RB13, Aaron Jones, and Gabe Davis, who, I mean, he might be boom bust, but like
he's not.
We saw what he did last week.
Can I read a stat? Gabe Davis is not boom bust. This is from the great Graham Barfield. I always call him great because he is. Over his last 8 games, where he's played at least 80% of the snaps and hasn't been on the injury report. This is over his past 8 games. Gabe Davis, 33 catches, 708 receiving yards. That's stupid. And 11 touchdowns in 8 games on 56 targets. That is an average of 21.3 fantasy points per game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gabe Davis is not boom bust. Gabe Davis is just boom.
Boom. There you go.
He's just boom.
There you go. Make the trade.
Yeah, Jeb. That's from the great Graham Barfield. Shout out Graham Barfield.
And Fabian, there are also other running backs that are RB1s for trash teams that you wouldn't be selling high on. I mean, are you selling high on Dameon Pierce right now?
No.
What are some other ones?
Travis Etienne. No.
Yeah, are you selling high on Travis Etienne or James Robinson right now? No. Like, just because a team is bad doesn't mean the RB1 for the team is bad. Lots of times it's the opposite. Now, do you want players on teams that are in scoring position more often than not? Absolutely.
Sure.
I still want Kenneth Walker as the RB1 on a trash team.
And that trash team is scoring in bunches right now.
Yes. Yep.
And Walker, the difference between Walker and Penny, again, I'm happy to, point people to, if you're interested, I did put a video on our channel earlier today about Kenneth Walker's rest of season outlook. Penny and Walker, their profiles are not totally the same. Their college dominator scores are very similar. What Penny didn't have that Walker does is 4.38 40-yard dash speed. Yeah, that is like 99th percentile for us for the
best
player
pure rusher
Walker's profile
in the draft coming out last year.
I'm not trading him.
Now, what do we say? I'm not making this direct comparison, but what have we said for years about Nick Chubb? He's the best pure runner in the NFL. He's just maybe not the best fantasy running back in the NFL by nature of, the touches he's getting and the offense he plays in.
Yep.
But now look at what he's doing this year. You want a guy that's seen as one of the best, if not the best pure rusher in the NFL. I want the guy that was viewed as the best pure rusher in the 2021 NFL draft class, or 2022. So yeah, Kenneth Walker, still an RB1, or candidate for RB1 weeks. Tamian, your other running backs are Eckler and Swift, and your wide receivers are Curtis Samuel, Michael Thomas, and D-Hop.
Yeah, don't make the trade. You already have the RB1s that you need. You don't need Jonathan Taylor. Keep your running back depth.
Yep.
Keep your running back depth.
Chan goes, Mike Will and Monster for Chase and Algiers, non-PPR. Yes.
Mike Will side.
Really?
Algier. I don't want Algier. Mostert took that backfield.
And non-PPR?
Yeah.
I mean, I know, like, I guess Algier is has shelf life.
Patterson's only gone for, in theory, 3 or 4 more weeks.
And Keenan Allen's coming back to take away a lot of Mike Will's.
Do we know that? He's missed 4 straight weeks with the hammies.
Yeah, he's got to be coming back soon at some point.
We think.
No, we could say the same thing about Cordarrelle Patterson. We think he's coming back.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you're saying you want to buy low on Chase because Chase hasn't been the Chase that we saw last year. He's only been the wide receiver 14. Oh no.
I don't want Algier. I don't know.
In non-PPR, he's a little bit more enticing just because, like, I know he's one of the more unexciting backs in the NFL. In standard, that's fine. Like, in standard, he doesn't need a bunch of targets a game. If he gets you 10 to 13 rushes on the ground with, upside for a touchdown, in standard, that's fine. Mostert, like, I like the usage. But I feel like Mostert is partially more viable because of what he does through the air, which is minimized in standard. But he gets basically the same amount of rushing on the ground every week.
I don't think I would do it, but if you want Chase, if you like Chase, then sure. I guess it's more of a 2-for-1 trade as far as I'm concerned. And I think the pieces in the 2 side are a little bit more both weekly contributors. Even when Keenan Allen comes back. When Keenan Allen comes back, Mike Williams is still a high end wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. When Cordarrelle Patterson comes back, Algier is a drop.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike Williams has done great through 5 weeks, but largely without Keenan Allen. But he's been the wide receiver 9. Chase, yes, and he's Mike Williams is going to stay the high end wide receiver even when Keenan Allen comes back. Will he be the wide receiver 14 that Jamar Chase has been as a floor play, basically, for what we know he can do? Like it.
Yeah.
I feel like Jamar Chase has room to grow, and Mike Will's been playing at his ceiling by nature of not having Keenan Allen in the offense. Is he still a wide receiver 1 candidate weekly? Sure. Is he wide receiver 9? I don't know. So I think Chase starts performing better than Mike Will pretty soon. And it depends if you have the running back depth to withstand losing or swapping Mostert for Algier, because that is a drop-off. If you can withstand that, if your running back core is good enough, I would make this move. Tamian, would you drop Juju for Rachaad White?
Yup. Sure. If Juju's your only option to drop, then fine. Is there anybody? I mean, you did post your team. I mean,
no, I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty comfortable moving Juju for White.
Yeah, because let's put it this way: if somebody offered me that in a trade where I was acquiring Rachaad White for Juju, I would take it. So I might as well drop Juju for Rachaad White if I can.
Absolutely. And Fabian agrees.
Yep.
Quinn, sorry to hear that. That sucks.
What's up, Quinn? Sorry to hear that. Hey man, new week.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Taysom Hill is a serious threat at tight end. He's a serious threat on the field. I don't know, he's the Cordarrelle Patterson of tight ends.
Play at tight end, he's a serious threat, but he's just so inconsistent. Look at his past 3 weeks before Sunday against the worst defense in the NFL, or one of them, the Seattle Seahawks.
He's kind of a backwards fantasy value, because we want typically players that are catching receptions over players that are getting rushes. Yet with Taysom, he's the only one in his entire position group who's getting rushes and not receptions, but he's performing and we want him. Like, it's backwards. Taysom Hill is backwards.
Yeah.
Which is why I never feel good playing him. But Joe Harris, good evening, guys. 12-team league, full PPR. Would you guys drop Schultz for Myers, Taysom Hill, Eno Benjamin, or Rondale Moore? Your team is Everett, Prescott, Geno, Gabe Davis, Dobbins, CMC, Tyreek Hill, Lazard, Pittman, Herbert, Darrell Henderson, Jameson Williams, and Antonio Gibson. And breaking news, veteran running back Corey Clement is signing with the Cardinals.
That's not a good sign for James Conner.
Or Darrell Williams.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and say right now, Joe, drop him for Eno.
Yeah.
Eno Benjamin is officially with that transit. You know what that transaction tells me? That tells me that Eno Benjamin is a priority waiver pickup this week, not over Kenneth Walker, but if
Number
Kenneth
two.
Walker if Kenneth
two.
Walker's already on rosters, then he's number 1.
Yep.
And I would spend 25 or so percent of my FOB to get him. You might be buying.
I'd spend 33%. I would just 33%
Sure, fine.
to get Eno.
You might be buying one play for 1 week, but you might be getting a guy, in a backfield with an aging guy in Connor who's struggled to stay healthy
throughout his entire career.
Yeah, screw it. 30 your FOB on Eno Benjamin. Yeah, that's what that move tells me.
Yeah,
Eno Benjamin is the number 1 waiver priority in leagues where Kenneth Walker is already rostered.
And when you look at what Eno Benjamin brings to the table, he is kind of a mixture of James Conner and Chase Edmonds. Yep. So he's a mixture. He's a good mixture of exactly the two running backs that were, doing real well as a tandem last year. He's kind of both of those guys rolled into one. He's the guy that everybody in Dynasty wanted to see break out by now. So, yeah, I'm willing to go that route. And Vision, going back on my team, would trading Higbee for Pollard be a good trade? The Pollard owner has Everett starting. Yeah, I mean,
yes,
do that. Yeah, do it.
Absolutely do that.
Do it. Not my life away. I like it. Trade Jamar Chase and for Godwin and Kenneth Walker. You can get Philadelphia defense if you ask.
Yes.
Hey, if you can get the Philly defense if you ask, then ask. Do it. Go for it. Yeah.
Yes. Celebrate by taking a nap.
There you go.
Shit.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes. I love Chase, but that's a spectacular package. You're getting Godwin. What did Godwin do this past week? I feel like it was somewhat quiet. That he had 5
quiet
for 58.
Day. Yeah, but still.
But he didn't. But guess what? The
Falcons.
The Falcons didn't make that game competitive. The Bucks had that game in hand for the most part for most of the game. They stopped throwing Godwin the ball. So I'm not worried about the fact that Godwin he had 61, 62 receiving yards, somewhere around there. I know this because I picked him to hit his over on his receiving prop and he missed by 2 yards. So anyway, that's my problem though, not yours.
No, I wouldn't make that trade. I would make that trade.
I would make that trade.
And as for the defense too, because if you can do it, then why not? Tamian, let me clear things up because I've been talking about 2 different leagues. Dubs, ETN, Walker, McKenzie, A-Rob, DJ Moore, and Josh Allen defensively for JT, DK, Parsons. If they accept, do I win? We already said no. I know you're trading away assets you might not like in A-Rob and DJ Moore and stuff, but I think I would rather have ETN and Walker knowing that they just had weeks where now I feel like you can buy into them rest of season. We know what the workload is ahead of Walker. I like what DK's been doing, love what JT's been doing, and it's tough because you look at the players that you'd be getting and it's like, yeah, I want Parsons. Yeah, I want JT. Yeah, I want DK. It's just you're giving up a lot to achieve it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And you have Eckler and Swift. You have Michael Thomas, D-Hop, and Curtis Samuel. Yeah, I mean, your team is due to get better knowing you have Swift and D-Hop coming back soon, knowing you have Michael Thomas coming back soon. And you're 5-0. Just stay pat.
If it ain't broke.
Exactly. And Iron, all right. So what was that? Space?
Oh, it's Walker.
It's Walker?
He loves space. Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Got you.
For some reason, I thought I heard that Michael Strachan had or maybe it was another Michael. I don't know. Somebody is going up to space with Jeff Bezos. Probably not the Colts wide receiver 4, but
could be. You never know.
You never know who has connections with who.
Quinn, nobody's a fan of Cliff Kingsbury.
Dude, Quinn, he stinks, man. I will be very happy for the Cardinals organization when he gets fired.
He will
I'll be happy for Tyler too.
Yeah, it'll be a great win for this organization once he gets let go. They can't score early on in games, and they can't adjust late in games to what an opposing team is throwing out to them after the opposing team adjusts. If the opposing team needs to adjust at all, he's just a bad coach.
He stinks.
He's a bad coach, and he's historically been bad. He's failed up every time we've seen him get a new position in the NFL, and it's wild that he even has the job in the first place still.
He stinks.
Sebastian, what should we do with Waddle? You got to continue to hold Waddle and roll him out there, man.
Just hold. You're not, because right now, who was that third string quarterback for the Dolphins? I missed his name.
Skylar Thompson.
Okay. Everyone's going to look at this situation right now and offer you peanuts for Waddle. Just bench him if you have to in the short term. If you have the receiver depth, bench Waddle. Don't move him. Because what's somebody going to offer you right now? Like a backup running back? Well, maybe not that bad, but like a Melvin Gordon. I'm not doing that.
AJC Royals, Damian Pearson, Brian Robinson for Kenneth Walker. You have Kenneth Walker. I mean, if you're getting Damian Pierce, who is what you're basically hoping Kenneth Walker becomes, but you're also picking up Brian Robinson.
That I would do.
I'm doing it.
That's solid.
I'm doing it. And Quinn says in a big boy league, you traded Pierce and got Kamara. Okay.
Sheesh.
Hey.
I'll take it. Or roll the dice on Kamara, man.
He's been nothing but a top 5 running back for his entire career. He's had a bad 5-game stretch. Kamara, I think you win there.
And he had, he broke his ribs. He missed a couple games because it was.
Yeah.
I can't say this from experience. I can only say it from just hearsay. Broken ribs hurt like a bitch, man. And when you're a football player, So nicely done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And your team is Russell Wilson, Higgins, St. Brown, Godwin from Tampa Bay. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah.
Is there another Godwin in the NFL? Godwin Igwebuike? I don't know.
There you go. Hey,
Breece Hall, Raheem Mostert, Kenneth Walker. Yeah, man, I'm doing that deal.
Yeah, do the trade, but get the hell off of Russell Wilson, man.
Yeah, see what you can do to trade away from that guy.
Just
Russell's ego is bigger than his gameplay. I don't even know what's going on there, bro. Like that whole situation. Like we just talked about how Cliff Kingsbury is a terrible coach. Nate Hackett is too. I don't know what's up with Russ. There's more than one thing is going wrong in Denver. Yeah. It can't just be the coaching is that bad. Something is up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can move off of Russell Wilson, if you can move off of Matt Ryan, if you can move off of Carson Wentz, there are quarterbacks out there where it's just like, ugh. I'd rather have Geno Smith and Jared Goff and like all these other guys that you were waiting on drafting. It's the NFL season is crazy. Awakwas, good to see you. Pierre Strong worth a roster spot? No.
Well, depends on Damian Harris, right? He exited somewhat early with the hamstring. I don't know. Have we received any latest from him? Any updates?
He's not. I do not believe he's playing next week, and he's out for the foreseeable future.
Okay. Speculative. I mean, it depends on who you're dropping. As always, so Aquas, it depends on who you're dropping. But as a speculative ad, if you have like a Pacheco rostered or something like that, then sure.
I would rather have Pacheco.
Yeah.
I mean, he's at least garnered some play this year. Pierre Strong has 4 snaps in week 2, and that's it, and hasn't garnered an offensive touch yet. And they have Kevin Harris on the practice squad, who they would conceivably elevate as soon as they put Damian Harris on IR or whatever they do with Damian Harris. I don't think it's as easy as, Pierre Strong is going to start playing now.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, do you want a Pierre Strong on a team that is being helmed by Bailey Zappi right now? I know Bailey's looked good last week, looked serviceable last week. Is that a route you want to go down? It feels like in 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to be asking who you should be dropping, or if you should be dropping Pierre Strong for the next hot commodity. I think Pierre Strong is an empty roster spot right now. I'd rather hold somebody another running back lottery ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Ross Bob, should I trade Devontae Adams and Montgomery for Josh Jacobs and CeeDee Lamb?
Yes.
Why not?
I mean, yeah.
Josh Jacobs is better than Montgomery right now by a large margin.
By a
Adams
mile.
and CeeDee Lamb are kind of equitable right now. They're a little.
Adams had a great game last night, but Lamb is not too much of a drop off. He is a drop off, slight drop off, but not too far, and he's getting Dak back soon.
Yeah. He's the wide receiver 16 with Cooper Rush all year.
Yeah, in favor of the big running back upgrade, just that makes Devontae Adams expendable. Yeah, it takes a hell of an offer to make something like that, happen. But yes, I would do that. I would do that, Ross Bob. Do that deal.
And Quinn, Najee's so good though. He put on weight in the offseason.
I think you're being facetious.
I mean, we did put on a ton of weight in the offseason.
Yeah, we didn't like the weight gain.
He did have a Liz Frank injury in the offseason.
Right.
Yeah.
They
didn't address their O-line in the offseason. There's a lot there, bro.
I was saying, as the season inched closer, that he was down my draft board. He was a late second round pick for me. And I was pretty much in most formats not getting him. But if I'm in a scenario where I have him, I know that I'm getting pennies on the dollar for him. That's a tough pill to swallow. I would wait to get past the Tampa Bay game, see if he can have some better matchups against some not softer, but you get what I'm saying, not as strong run defenses, see if he can get his value up, and then flip him.
Or try to see if you can trade into a player that has been injured and on people's benches for a while. Can you trade him for Elijah Mitchell plus, and that plus be something considerable because the player hasn't been able to rely on Elijah Mitchell or heard any news on Elijah Mitchell in a little bit, so maybe they're just getting itchy if they're losing a lot of games with that combination.
Yep.
But something like that would be something I would entertain at least. But that's about the only scenario in which I'm selling Najee right now, is for somebody else whose value right now is equally low and whose value could skyrocket in a few weeks as soon as they get some good news thrown their way. Aiden, what's happening, man? This guy traded me Ken Walker and Brandon Cooks for Courtland
Sutton.
Courtland Cooks.
So I think he meant Sutton. Did you get Walker and Cooks for Courtland Sutton? In which case, I would call that a win.
That's an upgrade for sure. That's an upgrade. I still think there are better days for Brandon Cooks ahead. Will he reach the heights of a Courtland Sutton or what he is right now? Probably not.
No. But getting Walker is a thing.
Man, we were right on Davis Mills. We were 100% right in the offseason on Davis Mills.
I have a little more hope for him as
you had a little bit more hope, but he basically saw last year in his analytics, all he did well was deep ball completion percentage. And we speculated, hey, if his efficiency with the deep balls goes down the drain, he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. He's not an ascending player. That has panned out.
Yeah. Yep.
Tamian, drop A-Rob and DJ Moore for Garrett Wilson and Brandon Cooks, or Corey Davis, or Josh Reynolds, Nico Collins, Zay Jones, KJ Osborne, Alec Pierce. Well, yeah, you should be.
Why is Garrett Wilson? But why the hell is
Yes, do it both of them. Yes, do it for both of them.
The short answer is yes.
It's
if
crazy.
Those guys are available.
And Everett and Higbee are on the wire, and Rashad White, Freiermuth. What league are you playing in?
Yeah, this is wild.
But yes, do that. But what league are you playing in, dude?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, not to be, not to set, but this sounds like it could be an 8-team league. That's a lot of really good talent available for
6-team league. Rico, these are your running backs. Good to see you, Rico. Hall, Pierce, J.K. Dobbins, ETN, Robinson. In order to pick up Walker, you have to drop 2. You can only have 4 total running backs. Well, in that case, I don't know if I don't know if I'm dropping anybody. I want Hall. I want Pierce. I think I want
I'm
Dobbins.
dropping Robinson. If I have to do this to get Walker,
but you can only have 4 total running backs. So you want Hall, Pierce, Dobbins, and ETN.
You might as well. Can you make a trade between now and the waiver wire deadline, Rico, just to ship off Robinson and ETN for Diggs, or not Diggs? You're not going to get Diggs. a good wide
well, in
receiver.
a team or in a league where
That's a weird
where you
rule.
can only have
I don't
4
like that
total
rule.
running backs. There's probably a decent
Why
amount
is that a
of good
rule?
running. You should outlaw that rule.
Yeah, Rico.
You should
I have
outlaw that rule.
questions. I would change that rule. It just seems silly. Why
I
limit
know
people?
that might be out of your control, but I would at least propose that.
Then start a riot, impeach the commission.
Boom, do it.
Start a riot, Rico. That and I'm not trying to be like, I don't want to brush off. It's just like that's a weird rule, man.
And fair enough, Tamian, no tight end, so that explains why there are those tight ends on the roster on the wire. But there should still be no reason why Garrett Wilson and Cook should be on the wire. So
and
pick
Rashad
them
White.
up.
And Rashad White.
Yeah, it's crazy. Rojo, thank you very much, man. Much appreciated.
Yeah, always.
Mark Lazarowitz, you're 0-5 in a PPR league and you need help. Your wide receivers are Amon-Ra, Marquise Brown, DK Metcalf, and your running backs are Alvin Kamara, James Conner, and your tight end is Darren Waller. Your flex is Dobbins, and your QB is Jacoby Brissett. What do I do? You trade Marquise Brown immediately.
Yeah. I think you sell Marquise Brown to get a quarterback and a tight end if you can.
Yeah, like if you can package Marquise Brown and Darren Waller.
And throw Brissett in there too for the hell of it. Who's on the wire?
And then maybe trade those pieces away for an upgrade at quarterback and tight end, and then pick up a wide receiver off your wire, or maybe you have a bench that you didn't list there. But that's about what I would recommend. I mean, you got to make some drastic moves if you're 0-5.
Yeah, I would sell high on Hollywood.
Like, this is the week where you got to blow it up, though, if you're 0-5, because coming out of an 0-6
is impossible.
Hole is it's basically impossible.
Damn near impossible. I mean,
so now is the time where you need to blow it up now. So blow up Marquise Brown.
So Mark, I see here he's down here. He says it's his first year playing fantasy. First of all, welcome.
That's a very good. That's a good squad for your first.
We're getting hit
for
with
your
bots
first team.
again.
I mean, you identified Amon-Ra. You identified Marquise Brown, who was a good pick. Metcalf has outperformed. Kamara and Connor have just been struck with bad luck, but they're not bad picks. Darren Waller, nobody saw his slump coming. You got Dobbins. No, it's not a bad squad. Good job for joining fantasy and stuff, joining the fantasy ranks, and keep your head up. There are better days to come, but one of the funnest things about fantasy is trying to dig a team out of the hole that you're in. Because it's fun to wheel and deal. It's fun to make moves. It's fun to try to see what works and see what doesn't. So make some trades, man. Blow it up. Have some fun with it.
Just a word of advice, Mark. Since this is your first year and you're probably still just smacked my microphone, like learning the lay of the land and like how the ebb and flow of things and how things all work. The idea with Marquise Brown, I know he's like your only. Well, you have DK. He could be losing value because DeAndre Hopkins is coming back soon. So maybe try to identify a team in your league that could use a wide receiver. Maybe they have a backup tight end that they're not using and maybe a backup quarterback. I'm not sure, what everybody else's rosters look like. And unfortunately, we don't have the time to go through all of those details. But this is kind of where you kind of go do your own research, your own homework, right? Go look at every team. And try to figure out who needs a wide receiver. Sell high on Hollywood, depending on what that team has in excess, whether it's a good running back, because you could also use a running back because James Conner has picked up an injury.
Yep.
And just see who could use a wide receiver and what do they have. And ask for a couple of things. Ask for a quarterback. Ask for a depth piece at running back. It makes sense to, try to replenish your talent pool with your, Waller's on bye.
I do kind of want to know how you ended up with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
Yeah, that's
it's a little bit of a head scratcher. Yeah. Just because he was probably people's QB 34, not even 32, because I'm sure some people liked an incoming rookie or something more than they liked Jacoby Brissett to enter the year. So it's a little bit head scratching as to why you have Jacoby Brissett as your starting QB. Every other option here at these positions looks okay. If coming into the league with this team, I think I was all right. outside of QB. So address that in the future. Maybe go out and, you know, try to get a better QB now in future years. Don't completely punt the quarterback position like you did here.
Yeah.
But there are better days ahead. Don't quit like Aiden says you should. Is it really that bad? You're asking Aiden. It is, because you're 0-5, and you like. It sucks because it's not going to get immediately better for Darren Waller. It's not going to get immediately better for James Conner. It's not. We hope it gets immediately better for Kamara
and amon-ra.
But it's not going to get immediately better for Marquise Brown. And Metcalf is going to be a little bit more of a roller coaster just because nobody can expect Geno Smith to keep this up all year. So it's tough, and I hate to say it, but right now it does look a little bit like a lost year for you from a fantasy perspective. But don't let this, you know, steer you off of playing fantasy in general. Take what you learned this year back to the drawing board. Get better next year. Fantasy is super fun even when you lose.
Right.
So don't let a one bad year, you know, steer you away from playing fantasy, because it is awesome.
Yeah. Things happen. There will be better years.
Absolutely. But yeah,
what
quarterbacks are on the wire right
get a better
now?
Quarterback.
Mark, you said last week you had Trevor Lawrence, and the last 2 weeks before that you had Carson Wentz. Yeah, you don't need to. Like, Brissett isn't the guy there. You can go back to Trevor Lawrence, honestly.
We got a super chat from Rico. Thank you.
Oh,
Rico.
yeah, Rico, thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Much appreciated, Rico. 12 team, half PPR, 3 bench spot, had Brian Robinson on IR.
Are you guys just throwing us a bone? Because you have to drop somebody still. I guess B-Rob is the one you have to drop. I'm not dropping Hall. I'm not dropping Pierce. I'm not dropping ETN. And who was the other one? Dobbins?
Yeah, I'm not dropping him either.
Not dropping
I'm dropping
him
Brian
either.
Robinson.
I guess I don't.
But I'm not
drop
dropping
Brian
2
Robinson,
to pick up Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, but you can't because of that stupid rule.
Yeah, you need to talk to somebody about that rule, bro.
Can you keep stashing Robinson on IR and do nothing, or do you have to make a pickup, Rico? Can you do or did you already take Robinson off IR? If you did, then you probably didn't.
Stuck.
No, well, you probably didn't yet because
it might be a situation where you can't, swap people out of starting positions if you have somebody over the IR spot, and then you have to make the move even if you haven't, if you want to put in the most optimal lineup or something like that. So,
yeah.
Thank you very much for the super, man.
Yeah, thanks. Rico.
But drop Brian Robinson out of necessity, but don't drop anybody else to pick up Kenneth Walker.
Mm-hmm. Real quick, kind of in the mix between the conversation between Mark and some of the people in the chat, Fabian was asking about Mixon being RB1 on expected fantasy points. Maybe try to sell him on that. We just identified his fantasy playoff schedule as nothing short of brutal. I would maybe be looking to move off of him and try to use that as an argument for people who are plugged in like that, like the way that you guys are, the way that we are. You know, maybe they look at that as a sign of being optimistic on Mixon. Maybe try to move him off of that argument.
Yeah, I'd be moving off of Mixon if I had him.
And then Mark, so he had Trevor Lawrence and he had Carson Wentz. I would go.
Go back to. I already said go back to Trevor Lawrence.
Sorry, go back to Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Dexter, last thoughts on trading CEH for Aaron Jones? I would do that.
If you can
CEH
get Aaron
has
Jones,
been playing at his ceiling. Aaron Jones has been RB13 on the year.
And he's always an RB1 because that's what he does. If you
CEH
can get Aaron
like
Jones for
fragile.
CEH, yes. And he had his first quiet game last night. He almost scored, though. So, again, use that as your talk. He was a yard away from catching another touchdown. But, go get Aaron Jones if you can, Dexter.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, RB13. Just go and get him. Go and do that.
And, I know we already said this, but don't pick up Stafford for Lawrence. Stafford is not usable right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't go after Stafford in any format outside of two QB where you have to.
If you have super flex and you have to keep him rostered, fine. Otherwise,
I know Quinn is saying start him up. Cooper Kupp scores touchdowns every Sunday. He's the only person on that team scoring touchdowns every Sunday. We want a quarterback to throw for 250, 300 yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns. And Cooper Kupp scores a lot of touchdowns, gets a lot of receptions. He's not fulfilling that entire stat line. And Stafford it's crazy. You see a quarterback who was top 5 in the league last year, won a Super Bowl last year, looks so inept. It's kind of wild.
And real quick, Rico, just to follow up on Rico provided the super, which we much appreciate. You didn't take B-Rob off IR yet. My follow-up is, do you have to do anything for this week then? Because if you don't have to, if you have your lineup already set that is good for this week, then do nothing.
True.
Keep B-Rob. Keep him stashed. If you don't have to make a move, don't make a move.
Yeah. Mark, we don't have Snap or Insta, but we are live here 3 times a week for the general public. If you're interested at all in 2 extra streams a week, that's 8 extra a month. We have a members tier for you, the practice squad members tier. It's 99 cents a month. So for 99 cents, you get 8 extra streams a month with us, where we answer all your fantasy questions throughout the entire season. We go into the off season. In the off season, you have the option to join leagues with us if you hit a certain tier of membership. Something for you to at least think about. If you're new to fantasy, we will try to teach you everything that we know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. D. Linney, get Warren, Eno, Shakir, among the most valuable handcuffs you can get for cheap. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I have nothing else to add.
Shakir had a great game last week.
He did. What do you have? Like 3 for 75 and a score or something like that.
Yeah, but it was the quality of the catches he was making. That you really had to have watched that game, not just look at the box score he ended up with.
No, he made
some
plays.
Very nice catches.
Yeah, he had some nice plays. Yep. And Eno looks like a starter.
Yep.
For potentially this week.
Quinn Math, much appreciated. Much appreciated. I can't agree or disagree with anything there, but appreciate it. Quinn.
LOL, right?
LOL. Yeah, Quinn, I'm kind of the same. Like, your team is banged up, Mark.
Yeah,
and that's just bad luck.
Fine, Mark. It's some shit happens. That's like you'll be all right. I know 0-5 looks gross. You might be getting roasted a little bit right now by your buddies, by your friends. Hang in. I think outside of the quarterback situation, which you will move off of Brissett, your roster's fine. You just need some breaks to go your way. And generally speaking, over the course of a fantasy season, things even out.
But the first thing I'm doing is moving from Jacoby Brissett to Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. And we need a backup tight end for Waller.
Yeah. Tamian, is Tua going to be a top 12 quarterback? He is on free agency. I have Hurts, but want to stash him if he will be. Like,
don't stash. You have Hurts.
I don't know if Tua is going to be back this year. None of us do. I'm not going to be touching that topic really at all, but to Nick's point, you have Hurts. You don't have to worry about it.
Regardless of that, you don't need, in one quarterback, you don't need to stash a backup quarterback if you have a top 3 player at the position. You just need a pickup for Hurts' bye week, and that's it.
Oh, man, you traded Kelsey for Swift and Waller week 2. So you have Swift. Bro, that's like...
Swift coming back, all right.
You have Swift coming back.
Right
like,
now,
that hurts, absolutely. But in week 2, would I have traded Waller and Kelsey for Waller and Swift? Honestly, I think I would have.
I would have said no.
For Swift, and you're still picking up a top 4, top 5 option, not knowing what we knew about Waller at that point.
I'm not trading.
Not knowing that Swift was going to be out for 3 weeks, like knowing what Swift did in week 1, like I don't hate that deal for you, Mark.
Yeah.
And Quinn, I do remember that. Remember when Quinn said he drafted Jacobs in the 2nd round, and we were like,
"Yeah,
you're crazy, dude," but roll with it. I mean, hey, more power to you, Quinn.
Made the right call. He looks spectacular right now.
Yeah. D. Linney, if you are playing against Taysom Hill, sit him on your bench so you can't lose to him. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the way to play it.
Yeah, he's gonna have a few more big games. It's like that's just it. He's gonna have like 3 or 4 more big games sprinkled unpredictably over the course of the season. I see the logic, but I'm willing to roll the dice. I'm not gonna roster Taysom Hill out of like to play defense against him. You know what I mean?
No, there are still other tight ends that
And that's just
aren't
not my
top
strategy.
8 tight ends that I would rather play ahead of him. But he does feel like if they're going Andy Dalton again, he is a top 12 option, just not a top 8 option. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah.
Dexter Last, drop Rachaad White for Brian Robinson. Nope. Especially if you want Fournette.
No,
Don't do it.
Yep.
Don't do it.
No, do not. Keep Rachaad. Keep Rachaad.
Mark, Hayden Hurst is a solid bet.
Get him.
We were wondering whether or not he was going to be playing this weekend because he picked up a did not practice on Friday. Ended up having a decent game.
Yeah.
Tamian, Jacobs, CMC, DJ Moore to the Chargers.
Is this
What?
the Chargers making? You're not. I mean, yeah, you already have Eckler, so you're not getting McCaffrey. You already have Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. Or sorry, Mike Williams. You're not getting. I see where you're going with this. You want good players for your team. I hate to burst bubbles, but those aren't happening. And the Raiders
DJ
aren't
Moore
trading
just got
a player
re-upped
to the division.
not even a full year ago.
Yeah.
So that's
It's fun to play this game. It's fun to it's fun to dream.
Hey, we play
but I gotta
the
burst that
spot
bubble.
track cap space game every offseason and then realize by the time free agency opens that it just doesn't matter. So, and Rico, thank you again for this next super. Much appreciated.
Hey, thanks.
You don't have to make a move. You were just trying to stockpile running back depth. Solid bet. And I'm glad we helped you win your league,
Appreciate
bro.
it.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
That's all I want to see.
Absolutely.
We help you win. That's all I want to see. So thank you. Yeah, appreciate it, Rico. Glad to hear it. If you don't have to make a move, don't make a move.
All right, and I think we do need to start speeding this up. I'm seeing how many things we have in the chat
We got
right
a
now.
lot of stuff to get to. Appreciate everybody's patience. We are going to get to all of you. Promise.
Yeah, I'm gonna start giving a few one-word answer here, unless it really warrants it.
Yeah.
Wentz at Chicago Thursday or Burrow at New Orleans?
Burrow. Wentz popped up on the injury report. What's going on, Callie? Wentz popped up on the injury report. A short week on the road. Give me Burrow, who at least has Jamar Chase to throw to.
Yeah, there's an offense tier break. Like I know Wentz is kind of garbage time guy. I'm going Burrow there.
And he's hurt now. He's picked up an injury on a short week. No, thank you.
Yeah. Tamian with the bot. Cali Loco, how much run does Brian Robinson get this Thursday at Chicago? Running back 2? I think they ease him in. I think he gets 8 rushes, something like that.
10, 12, 14 touches. 14 would probably be on the high end.
I think it's a little early for even that. 8 around 8 is where I'm thinking.
Yeah. 10, I would say maybe around 10, 11. I mean, they gave Gibson like 3 carries last week. I think it's kind of clear they want to move to Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
I guess, Brian Robinson did get 9 attempts last week. So, it could get more than 8. So, you're right. Tamian, no worries. And Fabian, thoughts on Alec Pierce worth a spot? If you absolutely need a wide receiver, yes. But there are other wide receivers I think I would still rather have than Alec Pierce. And it might just be because I'm not a huge Alec Pierce fan.
It depends on who the last guy on your bench is, but in 10 and 12 team leagues, he's probably not a pickup just yet.
No, I mean he's coming off 2 solid weeks, but he's still the wide receiver 61 on the year, so I'm not going crazy over him.
Give me, I continue to lean to the running back dart throws on your bench.
Brandon Hooker, good to see you. Start 2. Isaiah McKenzie, Taysom Hill, Darnell Mooney. That's yucky. But Taysom Hill and Darnell Mooney, because I think Isaiah McKenzie is still going to be dealing with a concussion. If he does come back healthy,
So to that point, I'm just gonna say, and Brandon, and anybody who may have start-sit questions with a guy who's coming off an injury and we don't know their status, this being McKenzie, come back Saturday, come back Sunday, Saturday 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday 10 a.m. Eastern, when we know does Isaiah McKenzie suit up or not, and how quickly did he exit concussion protocol? Does he have an injury status going into the game, or do they remove him on Friday, which is a huge positive sign? Like, these are all questions we don't know the answers to yet. I would hold the start-sit questions for now until this weekend, or if you can't make our streams, third link in the description of this video is our Discord. You can drop the questions then at your leisure, again, closer to kickoff. We just don't know Isaiah McKenzie's status right now, and therefore I can't give you a definitive answer.
Yep. And Cali Loco, desperate at RB2. Thoughts on these running backs? Coleman, McKinnon, DJ Dallas, and Joshua Kelly.
For your RB2 spot? Like,
I mean, if you're
start one of these dudes?
What's your situation, bro?
Like, that's a tough situation. Here, I think we got to make a trade here, Callie. I'm hoping that you have some good wide receivers, and if yes, I would look to trade one for a running back.
Yeah, throw your team in the chat and we can talk through.
Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend
what the rest
starting
of
either of these guys.
Is. Yeah, you can't fire any of these dudes up as an RB2.
Ross Bob, we already answered that question above.
That one.
Iron, do I start Eno over Najee this week? No.
Man, I can't go that far.
It sucks that we're there, but I would still say no. Roll with Najee this week.
Yeah.
Joe Harris, 12 team. You currently have Panthers defense. Would you guys stream them this week or try to add the Saints, Colts, Washington, Arizona, or Miami, or the Giants defense?
Who are the Giants playing?
The Ravens
are at home against Baltimore, so no, thank you. Miami is at home against Minnesota. That's not a bad choice. Arizona is on the road in Seattle. That's probably a bad choice. It might be Washington. At least they're playing the Bears, who stink.
Yeah, I mean, we said it last week. Stream anybody playing the Bears. Stream
anybody playing the Bears.
I'm going that route. Washington
stinks, but they have put up some decent numbers, actually, for fantasy purposes. They're getting 2 sacks, 3 sacks, 3 sacks, 1 sack, 5 sacks. They're getting sacks at least. Yeah. Washington, Joe. I'm not playing the Panthers on the road against the Rams, despite how inept the Rams offense is. Yeah. The Panthers are even more inept.
No, I'm playing Washington. And
Washington.
I'm just stream against Chicago rest of season, dude.
Right. Stream against the Bears. Sorry, Sad Jay. Stream against the Bears.
Ross Bob answered that question already. You don't got to continue to spam us in the chat. We get to it eventually.
Yeah. We need some patience. Appreciate it.
Fabian, if you want him, go and get him. If you want Eno Benjamin on your squad, use the waiver claim. That's just what you have him for. You're not going to get him if you don't use him.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not. Yeah. If you're playing with 11 other people who are paying attention, then you need to spend your waiver priority on Eno Benjamin. And if you're looking at your running back situation and you're like, I could start Eno Benjamin this week, then I think you have to use it. If you're not going to start him, then fine, pass up. But if you could use the running back depth, or you need a flex play, use the waiver claim.
So, official Bear, you got Justin Jefferson, Allen, and Hunt for Goff, Fournette, Stevenson, and Amari Cooper. Nice.
Is that? I assume this is Josh. This is the quarterback. Is this Josh Allen or Keenan Allen?
I'm guessing it's Allen.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Goff is involved in it. I'm guessing it's 2 QB, and that's Allen. So good job. Good job. Patrick Haas, follow-up. You already posted your roster. Y'all said drop Julio.
Yes.
Then, yeah, just go and get Rashad White. Easy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just go and get Rashad White. Easy. D. Linney.
Rashad White. No, Rashad White, not close.
Yeah. And, yeah. Yeah. Agreed. D.
Linney.
Linney sent my trade, my A.J. Brown and Pierce for his Hall and St. Brown. You have Lamb, Metcalf, Pickens, Garrett Wilson, so you don't mind downgrading at wide receiver for a running back upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a downgrade.
It's only in health. That's it.
Yeah.
When they're both healthy, those guys are kind of, at least what they've been doing is performing like wide receiver ones. So I like that deal.
And I think I would rather have Breece Hall over Dameon Pierce from a prospect/talent perspective. Breece looks great.
And Patrick, you got another question asking if
this
you
is
like for a trade.
Silver. Sorry.
No,
Got it.
it's not. We already gave you who you want for Julio, and then you got a trade question. I'd have to go back and scroll all the way back up to find your whole roster.
Kelsey, Najee, and Kirk. I mean, that's a hell of a return.
I mean, if you can get that done, do it. I just don't see where. I love Diggs, but I have Kelsey. Like, it's a Kelsey Diggs straight up 1-for-1. I don't know if anybody's adding Najee and Kirk to that, but if you can get it done, go for it.
I think you got to do that one. I think you got it. I love Diggs, but that is a package.
I'm finding it hard to believe you're going to be able to get that done. But if you can, go for it, bro.
Yeah, Kelsey, Najee, and Kirk. Yeah, I would do that. I would.
Vision Broncos country. Let's ride. Yes.
Big time. LOL. I mean, there's two guys on the wire for this week. It's Kenneth Walker might not be on the wire in most leagues, but if he is, he's number one. If he's not, Eno Benjamin is number two. And Eno Benjamin is probably number one in most leagues, in most scenarios. And I would say if you're loaded at running back, fine, pass on Eno Benjamin. But if you're not loaded at running back, spend 33% of your FOB.
And if you need a wide receiver, Jacoby Myers and Michael Gallup would be the options for me this week. But I am prioritizing both running backs over any wide receiver. But just to throw it out there, if you do need a wide receiver this week and Jacoby Myers is out there and Michael Gallup is out there, go and get those guys.
And if they're not, Rondale Moore is on the road in Seattle. Again, obviously we know Hopkins is coming back. But for these next 2 weeks, Rondale Moore he's playing 80. He played 86% of the snaps in his first week back. Played 91% of the snaps last week. Rondale Moore can give you a wide receiver 3 week if you need it. For at least the next 2 weeks, and especially against Seattle this week. So Walker, if he's available, is number one. If he's not, it's Eno Benjamin, and then Myers might be out there. Gallup might be out there, although I feel like he might have been scooped already. And then Rondale Moore. Deeper leagues, I guess Alec Pierce, DJ Dallas is worth a grab, I guess, as a depth running back in deeper leagues.
Who's playing in leagues that deep? I don't know.
16 teamers, man. 16 teamers.
Yeah, and if you're in that situation, let us know in the situation that you're in. But otherwise, I would just go off of those top 5 that we listed. And if you have any more specific questions regarding your specific waiver situation, let us know in the chat.
And one more, if Isaiah McKenzie is a did not practice on Wednesday after waivers clear, grab Shakir for free.
Sure. Agreed. But hopefully you just out Gabe Davis. Russell had the stats because he would just bomb it to Lockett or DK.
He's
I don't know I don't know what's going on there. It's a combination of multiple things.
Fallen off, the transition to the new offense hasn't been good.
No rushing upside. Like, there's multiple things there.
He's a drop in one quarterback leagues. He's been a drop for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, sucks. What's going on, Corey? Top 5 streaming defenses this week. I mean,
did Cleveland get dropped? They're playing the Patriots at home.
Defenses is
hell, we just got done talking about how
Jacksonville
bad Russ
at
is.
Indy.
The Chargers.
Cleveland Browns at New England playing against Bailey Zappi.
Yeah. Cleveland against New England would be mine.
Minnesota against Skylar Thompson and Miami this week is an option.
It's gross, but Washington is probably in a good spot against the Bears because every defense who plays the Bears is in a good spot.
Yeah.
Those guys like Cleveland.
Jacksonville playing Indy. I'll play anybody playing Indy right now.
The Chargers are playing Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson looks terrible right now, so maybe the Chargers are available.
I'd rather play the team playing Skylar Thompson or Bailey Zappi this week. So the Vikings are definitely at play for me, and the Browns are too.
Yeah, and if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, there's a good chance Washington's available. At least it's a good matchup by the numbers.
Yeah. Chris Genova, 3 and 2.5 PPR format. Any trade ideas? Hurts, Waddle, Thielen, Aaron Jones, Eckler, Andrews, DJ Moore, Taysom Hill, bench, Dubs, Woods, Carter, Renfro, Jameson Williams, and is that Darrell Williams?
Yeah. I would say try to trade some depth wide receiver options like Dubs.
I mean, float Taysom Hill right now because his name is being mentioned right now at all. So off rip, see what you can get for Taysom Hill. Off rip.
Sure.
Because this might be the last week where you'll be able to field any offers for him. Trade Taysom Hill off rip right now. Try to package him with Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
That would be the number one move that I would make.
Yeah, you have Andrews. You have no use for Taysom Hill. Move him for.
It might just be ugly with Waddle. Might be ugly with uglier with Thielen, just because they're not number ones, and you just gotta wait for better weeks. Love your running backs here, your quarterback here, your tight end there, your flex play. I mean, you might be moving Dubs and Woods up into that range for DJ Moore and Taysom Hill. You don't know, but.
You need a wide receiver.
Yeah. Trade Taysom Hill for a wide receiver.
Trade Hill and DJ Moore off of the hope that his life improves sans Matt Rule.
And throw in Jameson Williams to get an extra tier break in there.
Yeah, or a depth running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taysom Hill is your linchpin right now, Chris. See if somebody wants to buy the hype. Especially since you have Andrews. Like, Taysom Hill should be you should be moving heaven and earth to move Taysom Hill this week.
Yeah. And fortune, like, I don't know how you feel about this, Nick, but I don't think DJ Moore is getting any better unless a quarterback change is made.
Yeah, I might have just alluded to it.
Coaching just doesn't do much, move the needle for me.
Matt Rule was clearly in over his head, but what quarterback on Carolina's roster do you believe can unlock DJ Moore this year? Because the answer is none of them.
I mean, the answer is, for a couple week stretch, the answer is clearly Sam Darnold.
Maybe.
Like, do we like Sam Darnold? No, but you have to remember, through 5 weeks last year, DJ Moore was the wide receiver 4. With Sam Darnold, and that was with Sam Darnold rushing 5 times in 5 games, for rushing touchdowns 5 times in 5 games. If there's one quarterback that will at least hyper target Moore, it is Sam Darnold. What can get Moore back to low end wide receiver 2 status? Sam Darnold.
Goddamn bots. Sorry.
It's not going to come with the coaching change. We're going to be playing PJ Walker for the next few weeks until Sam Darnold gets all the way healthy. And then when Sam Darnold comes into the fold, maybe then we'll see DJ Moore getting back to low-end wide receiver 2 value. That's the hope. We know he has wide receiver 1 upside if he ever got a QB. It's not going to happen this year.
Maybe. Yeah.
Patrick, I would agree. He probably shouldn't have traded away.
For Waller and Swift, that's even after week 1. I can definitively say I'd say no to that. Kelsey is one of one.
Kelsey is one of one, but I'm on the other side of that. I probably at that point in time, because we have to, like, after week 1, before week 2, would I have made that deal? Probably. Yeah. If I was itching to make a deal coming off of 1 week, which
would have backfired.
Yes.
Which would have backfired.
And yeah, Vision, everybody join the Discord. Aquas, how do we feel about Donovan Peoples-Jones rest of season full PPR? He'll have 2 more boom weeks rest of season, and the rest of them will be, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 weeks. More wide receiver 4 weeks than 3 weeks. And I don't honestly think much about Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I mean, pick him up after the Buffalo game, week 11, because then you only have to wait 1 more week for Watson to come back. But, it's not a priority. Not yet.
No, and I mean, even when he comes back, I mean, we're predicting that Deshaun Watson makes 2 playmakers through the air playable, which is what he did for the Texans. It was the top 2 wide receivers were playable. The top tight end, usually not really. The third wide receiver, usually not really. But the top 2 wide receivers in this offense right now are Amari Cooper and David Njoku. It's not Donovan Peoples-Jones. And if they were to bring in a wide receiver, make him more involved, with him being the shiny new toy, it would probably be David Bell. It wouldn't be Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I'm not super high on Donovan Peoples-Jones. I know he's getting a quarterback upgrade later on in the year. I think other people have taken his role.
If you have the space to make a pick, if you have the space to get to add a depth wide receiver after week 11, after the Bills game, then sure, just take the chance, roll the dice.
But don't do it until then. It's an empty roster spot until then.
Yeah.
Adam, is Darnell Mooney worth a roster spot? Barely, but yes.
Barely, I guess. It depends on your situation. Depends on your situation.
I mean, he's in every role, or every down player. Yes, he's not getting the usage, but that's because Justin Fields isn't passing. If you're going off of team target share, Darnell Mooney is getting the usage through 5 weeks that you would want based off of team target share. The team just isn't passing enough.
The team target share is...
So I'm holding on to Darnell Mooney with the hope that maybe they can start picking up their pass attempts at some point in the year like a smart organization would. They're not.
Yeah, Adam, I'll keep this. If you have good wide receivers and you could use some dart throws at running back, then no, he's not worth a roster spot.
Now, would you rather have Darnell Mooney or DJ Moore?
Pass.
Yeah, no, but realistically.
I guess Mooney.
Yeah, that's why Mooney isn't a drop for me unless you are picking up a Garrett Wilson, unless you are picking up a Brandon Cooks like somebody else did in this chat, dropping.
That's a one-off situation.
Allen Robinson and DJ Moore. But I think out of 99% of the teams that have Darnell Mooney on the roster are just continuing to hold Darnell Mooney on the roster, hoping that he picks it up at some point.
Yeah, and if you have good wide receivers, you don't need to wait. You can just drop him.
Denzel Barrett, Carr's on bye, so pick one out of Zach Wilson, Brissett, or PJ Walker. Zach Wilson.
Wilson. Good weapons, playing well. Those other guys are not worth consideration here. Wilson.
And Patrick has some advice. Appreciate everybody filling in the chat. Much appreciated.
Always welcome the discourse, the dialogue before we can get to it.
Yep. No problem. Vision, part of the conversation. I see you. Patrick, I see you. Tamian, it's 12-man. Okay. We're going back up to your roster here.
While you're doing that, I'll move to the
Jacobs, CMC, DJ Moore. Oh, no. Damn, we have a... All right. That's where you listed all the options on waivers. Tamian, throw your team in the chat again.
Yeah, or
whatever corresponding question that move that comment, tagged along with. Aquas helping out Vision 2. Love to see it. Love those, hate those bots, but love to see the collaboration in the chat.
And yeah, Rico, get that damn rule changed.
Yes, absolutely.
To have positional limits.
D. Linney
serves no purpose.
If you are 1-4 or 0-5, this is the time to win. Absolutely. I echo your sentiments, D. Linney. If you have bye weeks, trade the bye week with another top player for a stud or two good players that you can play this week.
Call. Yeah. Don't wait for a situation to hopefully I'll get him back next week. Yeah, well, he doesn't help you this week, and you need a win this week. So, yeah, it's not a bad move.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to move a guy like Josh Jacobs, but you could also sell very high right now if you're in that situation.
But that's the situation. I'm selling high on CEH. I'm selling high. There are certain players that I am absolutely comfortable at the running back position selling high. Josh Jacobs, probably not one of them because I think he will continue to just have this output the rest of season.
If I'm 0-5 and in a bad part of town for my running back or flex spot, then I'm going to try to get a dude who can help me this like you can offer Jacobs and a decent wide receiver for an anchor at running back or wide receiver. In this specific scenario, I agree with D. Linney. I'm exploring it.
Go broke, if you're go home if you're 1-4, 0-5. Like make the blockbuster deal for Saquon. Do it.
If Jacobs is nice for your team and you're 2-7, who cares?
Yeah, you can pat yourself on the back at the end of the year, like, oh, look at this squad that I accumulated. Look at my bench, deepest bench in the league. Did it win you games? Yeah, that's what matters.
So yeah.
Vision, you think it's worth giving a chance to Peoples-Jones? Peoples-Jones is not on the Chiefs. He's on the Browns.
Yeah.
So I think you're confusing it with another hyphenated wide receiver in Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Potentially. Riley VIP, good to see you.
What's up, Riley?
Taysom Hill question again. We did already talk about him. If you have Tunyon, like,
then
I think I'm
Taysom Hill, I guess.
Yeah. If you have Tunyon, like, I like starting the traditional tight end and over Taysom Hill. But again, and we've said it multiple times, if you don't have a top 8 option at the tight end position this week, and they're rolling out Andy Dalton again, I'm rolling with Taysom Hill over any non-top 8 option.
Yeah.
Official Bear. Yeah, that trade is awesome. Good job, bro. Good job.
Rip a shot, man. Celebrate.
Do it. Take a nap. Vision, is Van Jefferson worth picking up next week or even or this week to put in your IR spot? If they can't open up the field enough to you know, if the offensive line can't hold it down enough for Matt Stafford to be able to target Allen Robinson, I don't see how many deep targets Van Jefferson is going to be getting, especially with Tutu Atwell getting a couple of deep targets last week. Now Van Jefferson, coming off an injury, has a little bit of competition for the speedster role in this offense. It's not all his. And what are you hoping for? Our wide receiver 3 value?
Yeah, like a top 36 receiver.
And I don't know about you, but I am projecting that at some point the Rams go out and get a OBJ or something like that. Still, in a few weeks.
They'll be in the mix. They sorely need to
So I don't know what Van Jefferson does for you, even if he's just a free on your IR wide receiver. Now, if you can throw him in on your IR, it doesn't hurt you at all. I just don't know if it helps you at all. You might just end up dropping him as soon as he comes off of IR. But if you can pick him up for free, then why not?
Sure.
Riley, you're 1-4 in a 12-man or 12-team PPR 2-flex league. You have Burrow, Barkley, Ramondre, Pollard, Chase, Debo, Drake, Gabe,
really
Tunyon. Yeah, you have a shot at coming back from that.
Shot.
Ramondre, it's Ramondre full tilt, full go, right now. Gabe just had a ceiling week.
Saquon is back. Chase, you know, we need the Bengals to pick things up a little bit, but you have to rock with these guys. Debo is Debo. Gabe is back and healthy.
And the fact that you're 1-4 and not 0-5, sorry to all you 0-5 owners out there, the fact that you're 1-4 does mean, yeah, bro, you have a shot to come back from this. You have Burrow and Barkley and Chase and Debo, and yeah, you'll be fine.
One time I made the playoffs as a 6 seed and I was 5-8. Like, you never know.
Exactly. Just like the NFL, you just need to get hot at the right time.
6-8 or something like that. I was like, I had a losing record. It's okay. We're doing it. We're taking this 1 week at a time. That team looks good. I wouldn't panic, Riley.
I wouldn't either.
Firing up Gabe Davis every week, though.
Yes. D. Linney, high upside QB streamers this week are Fields versus the Commanders and Pickett versus Tampa. They have risk, but high ceiling potential. I think the risk they present is bigger than their high ceiling potential.
I mean, Fields had his first 200-yard passing day last week against the Vikings.
And he was very close to, I believe, having another touchdown. So, and yeah, it was the first time this year that he's played a defense that wasn't on the bottom 32 in terms of quarterback against.
Bots. Sorry about the bots, everybody.
I mean, yeah, you could see a more of a ceiling game from Fields in Washington. Is that what you want to tie your wagon to?
No.
Fields? I don't.
It's a good matchup, but like, meh.
A quarterback that is barely throwing for 20 times a week.
Tough sell.
Like 17, 11, 17, 22, 21. Those are his attempts a week. I mean, Joe Flacco was throwing 59 times. Like, borderline 3 more times, or times 3
more.
what Fields is doing now.
Triple.
Like, it's crazy.
Joe Flacco versus a guy that was drafted in the first round last year.
Yeah, so yes, Fields is a high upside streamer, but I'm not going that route.
It's hard.
I'm
to
not
trust
going that route.
Even with the rushing upside.
And Pickett, like, no, it's still murderer's row for him. Coming off of a Bills game, now he's got Tampa Bay. Like, I'm waiting until he's playing some easier defenses to invest in Pickett.
Seattle. Till then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get Geno Smith, man. That's the streamer this week.
Yeah. And all right, we are gonna, I know we keep saying this, a little bit more rapid fire again. But Rico, I just get the best running backs you can, and that involves don't pick up Kenneth Walker. Just stand pat. Fabian, thoughts on dropping Hurst or Boyd for Van Jefferson? I'd hold both Hurst and Boyd.
Yeah, hold them both. I don't know how healthy Van Jefferson is. And that Rams offense is tough to trust right now.
Yeah. Vision, who has a higher trade value, Kelsey or Diggs? Well, Kelsey is one of one.
Yeah.
To Nick's point earlier in the live stream. Diggs, at least, he's performing great, but there are other wide receivers that are performing up to his level right now. Nobody's on Kelsey's level, even at 32 years old.
It's Kelsey and Andrews and nobody else.
Yeah. Especially in a year where, like, Kittle isn't firing, Waller isn't firing, Pitts isn't firing. It's a super weird year for tight ends. So yeah, Kelsey is one of one this year.
Yeah.
Vision, the Rams are Cup or bust. To be honest,
exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why you can only fire up Cup and I guess Higbee. You can fire up Higbee if you need a tight end. That's it right now.
Yeah.
That's
100%. 100%. Tamian, Garrett Wilson or Brandon Cooks? Brandon Cooks. But Garrett Wilson's gaining.
Yeah. Cooks is still the clear wide receiver 1, despite it's a bad situation, but Wilson competes with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. Brandon Cooks competes with, I like Nico Collins, but there's a talent level tier break there.
Yeah, and he's had more floor weeks than ceiling weeks, but he still has an 11-point game, still has a 15-point game in there, Brandon Cooks, and there will be better days for Brandon Cooks moving forward.
Yeah.
Vision, do you think Kelsey for Diggs and Barkley is a good trade, trade or L trade?
You're getting really good
Who's
value.
your tight end is now what I'm like. Unless you walked into a Higbee, unless you walked into an Everett, then I don't know. You can't get much
good offer.
Yeah, you can't get much better than that.
It's a really, really good offer.
Which makes me inclined to think you just take that because it's Diggs and fucking Barkley.
Yeah.
And you try to make it, maybe you trade a lesser player now that your RB2 becomes your RB3. Maybe you trade your former flex play for a tight end, a lesser tight end or something like that. Yeah. I think I would do that trade.
Yeah. I don't want to give up Kelsey, but you can get a wide receiver 1 and a top 5 running back. Like, that's what it requires. That at that point it's personal preference because I'm not crazy about trading Kelsey, but for that it's like, all right, this has to be considered.
Yeah. D. Linney, New Orleans coach, said Taysom will remain a key contributor to the offense week 6 without Olave and likely Winston. Yeah, he could be more involved.
Yeah.
Our outlook remains the same. If you don't have a top 8 option, start him.
Sure. If you don't have a top tight end, if you don't have a top 8 tight end option, then yes, you can fire him up. I just
don't you never feel good about it.
It's a weird feeling. He could fire.
Yeah. I'm never putting money on it. D. Linney, Steelers coach, said Warren has been getting more reps and will continue to get more opportunities. Good. He deserves it.
As he should.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Out right now. Yeah.
He's the Pollard right now to Najee's Zeke.
Yeah, Tomlin himself said the role will continue to grow. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, played half the snaps. Now, look, it was a blowout, right? So the Steelers threw in the towel in the second half.
Yeah, but they might do the same thing this week
against Tampa. Yeah, they might. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, over 50% of the snaps. That's wild for Jalen.
Kind of wild.
That is kind of wild. Patrick, appreciate it. Zach Roberson, should you sell high on Hollywood right now? Yes.
Yes. Thank you for the like, but yes.
Much appreciated.
Whatever Hopkins coming back. Hollywood warrants a wide receiver and a good running back right now. He's having he's off to a very strong start. There's no guarantee it continues because Hopkins is coming back. Yeah, you should be able to get 2 really good pieces for Hollywood right now.
He's the wide receiver 6 right now, dude. Capitalize.
Get a wide receiver 2 and a running back 2. That's what you can ask for.
Absolutely. Trey Smith, Isaiah Pacheco this week versus Buffalo. I'm not starting. I mean, it's tough to sit any Chiefs. It's
not tough to sit Pacheco.
Yeah, I'm not.
The Bills.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing that game.
Nah, not messing around. If he fires, it will be. If Pacheco hits this week, it will be against all odds. Yes. If you like living dangerously, go for it. But that's exactly.
He's still a hold on your roster, but you're not starting him this week.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah, I want to hold him, but I don't want to play him this week against the Bills.
No.
Yeah.
Vision. Before the season, you picked up Breece Hall and Amon-Ra and Josh Jacobs, and you were predicted to have a 4-12 record, and now you're currently 5-0. Yeah,
Yahoo
bro.
Writers, man.
You just got to trust your own instincts sometimes when it comes to these players, and you'll come out on top. If you do the research and you believe in certain players, go and get them. That's why fantasy is fun.
Yeah.
Mike Lopez, good to see you.
What's up, Mike?
And Vision, going off topic from fantasy, but who out of the NFC West do you have winning the division?
I guess the 49ers. They beat the Rams. The Rams look bad. They won a road game this past week.
Yeah, it's got to beat the Niners by default, even though it's
the
not
Niners
fun
by default.
because Jimmy G again, but
Right.
Yeah.
But they have the best team. They have the deepest team.
Defense is shut down. Yeah. Offense opportunistic. Yep. And Patrick, yeah, if I had Josh Allen, I'd be high on Diggs too. But yeah, I would still try to trade Kelsey for Saquon and Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would address the tight end position if I don't have an adequate streamer or play there.
You're talking about giving up the best player at the thinnest position of talent.
Yeah. It's gonna hurt, but I think it opens up possibilities for your team that will make your team better in the long run. If you can then parlay other players into an adequate tight end position.
Yeah.
Randy Miller, you have Mixon, Higgins, Burrow, Chase, and Chris Evans, I'm guessing. Should you trade
or is that
Higgins?
Clyde and Mike Evans?
It could be.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Mike Evans. Pretty damn good.
I just saw a bunch of Bengals, so I was thinking they're all Bengals.
Fair enough.
Should you trade Higgins for Stevenson? You're 1-4, desperate for a win.
Patriots are on the road this week against Cleveland. That is
no.
I mean, Stevenson's going to get the work. but that's a pretty tough matchup playing probably with a third-string quarterback. It's one thing to play Detroit at home. It's another thing to play Cleveland on the road.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Cincinnati is on the road in New Orleans, so that's not a great move. That's not a great matchup for Mixon. And Clyde has a pretty brutal matchup against the Bills, but at least you know he's going to should be involved as a pass catcher. If you're desperate for a win, you can move Higgins, but it's got to be for somebody better than Stevenson with a better matchup.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that just by nature of, like, Higgins is a top 12 receiver, and Stevenson is not a top 12 running back. And I know you're 1-4. You're desperate for a win. I'm trying to make a bigger move than going Stevenson here. If I want to trade Higgins, like, could you do Higgins and Mixon? I know you have Burrows and you have. Could you do Higgins and CEH to the Saquon owner for Saquon plus?
I don't think you're getting plus for Saquon right now.
I don't know. Bottom line is I'm not trading Higgins for Stevenson. But if you're 1-4, I agree with you that you're desperate for a win. You need to make a move. I think I'm going blockbuster over taking what I could get for a top 12 wide receiver who isn't performing like a top 12 wide receiver right now.
Let's see what the practice reports are for Higgins this week, Randy. If Higgins is a DNP on Wednesday or Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday, then I am dangling him to one of the better teams in the league for one of their guys that could help you this week.
Like, can you get Stevenson plus? In which case, I'm fine with that. I need a little more. I mean, Higgins coming off a 0-point week, but before that, 16 points, 11 points, 21 points. The dude's a wide receiver 1 when he's healthy.
Yeah, his value didn't go down.
So I'm not just giving him away for Stevenson, even though that's not giving him away. I just need more back from the Stevenson owner. So if it's Stevenson plus, I'm willing to do it. If not, I'm turning that down.
Yep.
Patrick agrees with this. Monier and do I trade away Aaron Jones and Hunt for Josh Jacobs? No,
that's a little too much, even though Jacobs is looking great right now.
Yeah, it's just too much.
That's a little too much.
And start 2, have PPR, Walker, ETN, Hunt, and Aaron Jones. Well, Aaron Jones for sure.
Aaron Jones is in your lineup every week.
And then Walker by nature of the workload?
Seattle is playing Arizona at home. ETN, who the Jags play? Indianapolis on the road. Yeah, Walker. Aaron Jones and Walker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fabian, in regards to Eno this week, you have Hilliard, ETN, Mixon. I don't know if I'd start him because I have ETN, Mixon, Dubs, London, DJ Moore, and McKenzie starting. Well, if McKenzie isn't playing due to a concussion, then you're definitely starting Eno. And you're starting Eno over Hilliard. So you're trying to start Eno in your flex spot this week, man. And even if McKenzie plays, I think I want Eno over him in my flex right now. So swap out Eno for McKenzie. Fabian.
And if McKenzie plays and you want to play him, you can play him over DJ Moore.
There you go. Tim Shields, good to see you.
What's up, Tim?
If I can get Chase for Monty and Deontay, should I?
Yes.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. I see what you have left at running back. That's fine.
And wide receiver, man. Nice.
Yes.
Yep. Do it.
If you can do it, do it.
Do it. And yeah, D. Lenny, it's not outside of the realm of possibility that you can sell Taysom for higher after this week. But again, as with anything Taysom Hill related, I'm not betting on it. If it happens, great. I'm not starting him if I don't have to. But do I at least have him on my bench? Am I playing defense with him on my bench and maybe trading him after this week?
I mean, he had 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a passing score. I don't know that his value is going any higher. I think he just if he gets a 18-point week this week, if he gets a 15 to 16-point week this week, his value will go up from where it was last week because he's not just a flash in the pan. Then look
2 weeks of production. And you're saying this to, probably one of the tacos in your league, but he can gain a little bit more value in this week. Sure. D-Lenny, PJ Walker is starting week 6. He came in the game with 3 minutes left and completed 6 nice passes. Terrence Marshall had 2 awesome catches. But hey, man, we've seen PJ Walker in full games. A string of full games, multiple games.
Well. That's,
We know what he is. He's not going to maximize DJ Moore. He might steady the boat a little bit, but this offense won't reach its ceiling, and it's crazy to say this, won't reach its ceiling until Darnold is back.
Which means they're not reaching their ceiling this year.
They're reaching a ceiling. It's not a ceiling you want to be. It's like an Ewok ceiling. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a ceiling like that high. Like.
Yeah, this Panthers offense is not. If you don't have Christian McCaffrey, just get out from under it.
Yeah. PJ Walker might steady the boat. It's not helping much.
Maybe.
Tim, should you drop Elijah Moore or Garrett Wilson?
For who?
I'd be more willing to drop Elijah Moore than Garrett Wilson. There are players I would drop Elijah Moore for. Your Eno Benjamins, your
who?
Kenneth Walkers. Would I be dropping Elijah Moore for Jacoby Myers or Michael Gallup?
No.
Probably not.
Kenneth Walker? Sure. Eno Benjamin? Maybe. Anybody
Eno
else?
Benjamin, yeah, I would for Elijah Moore. Not Garrett Wilson.
No.
Tamian, and thanks for the clarification there. Riley VIP.
We got his Taysom question.
Yeah,
before we talked about Taysom a lot today.
Yeah. It's been a repeated question. And yeah, it took us 30 minutes. It took us a long time to get through the chat today. Again, as you all know, we get to every single question in the chat. Sometimes it's not on everybody's schedule, so you got to bear with us. But we will get to every question here. Mm-hmm. Vision, take on Jeff Wilson. Solid RB2 until Elijah Mitchell comes back.
Yeah. And he's worth, it's... You could trade him for probably like way above what he's actually worth right now if you don't need him. Even when Elijah Mitchell comes back, he's going to retain value.
Yeah, look, last week against Carolina, 58% snap share. Somebody else in that offense was getting a fair share of work. Jeff Wilson still got 19 fantasy points. So, yeah, he's going to take a little bit lesser of a role when Elijah Mitchell comes into the fold, but he still could give you a 10-point week on any given week moving forward.
Yeah.
But he's an RB2.
Yeah, he's an
further notice.
He's an RB2. He might go down to like an RB3 when Mitchell returns, but there is still value there. If you're loaded at running back, I would look to move him for a really good wide receiver. If you're not really strong at running back, I would hold.
And D-Lenny, I know McCutcheon was a solid preseason play. I think that's where we gotta, we gotta leave him. Great preseason. I think the vet's going to continue to get work over him.
Robinson's going to continue to get work for better or worse, and it is worse. I mean, he's a wide receiver 5.
But you also have to remember McCutcheon was doing that with the backup quarterback because they weren't starting any starters, which means he probably had a ton of rapport with the backup quarterback that was playing. I doubt McCutcheon has rapport with Stafford right now because I don't know if anybody outside of Cooper Kupp does. So, yeah, I'm not putting any money on that. This.
He probably wouldn't be any worse.
Okay.
Probably wouldn't be any worse. But at this point, when we're at this point in the conversation, that means this Rams offense is broken, and Allen Robinson is he's dust.
Yeah.
He's dust. Hate to say it. But he's dust.
Anthony, glad you made it. Riley, don't worry about it. No worries.
Thanks for re-upping.
Yeah, much appreciated. D. Linney, yeah, Fields had that again. That's what I was pointing
back.
to. It wasn't a passing touchdown that got called back. It was a rushing touchdown. So he would have had
do.
over 100 yards for the first time this year on the ground, and would have had 2 touchdowns on the day. Would have had a good week for you. But that touchdown did get called back, and he hasn't put it all together yet, and he hasn't thrown for more than 21 times in the game yet, which is crazy in 2022. I know he's technically got some upside as a streamer. There are better options out there for me.
He's a QB1 if that happens, but
there's so many factors. There's so many factors that he's being held back by. So I just can't tie myself to that wagon.
To do it. Yeah. Could be fine this week. It's a good matchup by the numbers. Washington is not very good, but neither are the Bears.
And Tim, I would play the Browns defense going up against Bailey Zappi, third stringer Bailey Zappi, and the Patriots this week. If I have to choose between any of those defenses.
I don't think I would play the Bengals on the road in New Orleans, and Chicago's defense could be fine. They are playing Carson Wentz. Browns are the better team, though.
Yeah.
Feels like it's a little bit more of a mismatch.
I'm going Browns against Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, that's fine.
That
Browns are the better
like
team. Chicago and Washington are just 2 bad teams. Yeah.
And there you go, Riley. Thank you again for re-upping. Mike Lopez, you're competing in your redraft league and you need a QB. You need trade thoughts. You just put your team in the Discord.
I'll take a look at it. You want to keep going?
Sure. I'm trying to pull that up here too.
Oh, you're trying to pull it up. Okay.
But yeah, I can continue if you're pulling it up. Levi Ketchum, glad to have you in here. Yeah, what's up, Levi?
Mike, I mean, your receivers are loaded. I would offer one. I would offer Lazard or Cooper or Christian Kirk for a quarterback. You got a million wide receivers. Move one. Find somebody in your league. Find somebody in your league who needs a wide receiver and see what's up.
Yeah, you got Metcalf, Kirk, and Lazard on your bench. Amari Cooper, Pickens.
Somebody's got to be stashing one too many quarterbacks if you can't just pick somebody up off the wire.
Absolutely.
Hell, just pick up Geno Smith and start DK with him.
There you go.
Pittman can be moved out of your lineup when you have DK Metcalf and Amari Cooper.
Yes.
And Ramondre. Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go. Hope that helps, Mike. Hope that helps.
Yeah, I would package one of those guys, or pick up Geno, or package one of those wide receivers like on the Lazard and Cooper and Ramondre, and get get Saquon. Yeah.
Or try to get Kelsey. I mean, your running backs, Chubb and Hall, are elite moving forward. Chase Brown and the combination of Pittman, DK, and Kirk, those are elite options to choose from this year. Kittle seems like an elite option, has yet to be an elite option, has the name recognition of an elite option, and you could trade him for an elite option if you package one of your bench options with him for Kelsey. I think you can get that done too. I would rather do that than go all out for a Saquon because you have good running backs.
Yeah.
D. Linney, Stevenson is playing Cleveland, who is the 29th ranked run defense. Stevenson has amazing 3-game run before the week 10 bye. Damian Harris is out for 2 to 3 weeks.
It's just look. Ramondre looks good, and if I don't have obvious other plays, I'll play Ramondre. But I don't know that I want to trade T. Higgins for him if I know that Higgins is playing this week. Right now,
we have to remember Higgins is a top 12 wide receiver.
Yeah. If he's out, then I'm still asking for I
don't want to trade a top 12 wide receiver for a hot 3-game stretch.
Yeah.
I like Stevenson as much as the next guy. Cleveland right now is giving up the 17th most fantasy points to are actually the third most fantasy points to opposing running backs with 27 fantasy points. Very solid stream for the next week. Could he have an amazing 3-game stretch before the 10-week bye? Sure. Do I want to give up a top 12 wide receiver for him? No.
Yeah.
Fabian, as a Panthers fan, hearing bench DJ Moore kills me. I just can't do it.
I hear you, man. Sometimes your fandom is like the driving force. I understand, and you want to root for and start the guys that you root for, that you support, that are on your team. I get it. And none of this is his fault.
No.
Like, none of this is DJ Moore's fault. By no means am I questioning DJ Moore's talent. I am questioning everything around him because it's poo-poo right now.
Absolutely. Joshua Loyola, pick 2, Dobbins, Kirk, or Olave if he plays. Well, if he plays, you kind of have to be playing Olave in a game where there's no Michael Thomas.
Dobbins and Olave, but he's concussed. I wouldn't bet on it.
So it's probably going to be Dobbins and Kirk, in which case you're still pretty good.
Josh, we host live starts at live streams Saturday 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday 10 a.m. Eastern. When we know Olave's, this is a situation where you literally have two options if the third is out. But if it helps, when we are closer to the actual start of the slate and we have injury updates, we have practice updates, practice reports as far as who practiced and who didn't with injuries and whatnot, we could give you a much more concrete answer if that helps.
Absolutely. Cade Smith, answer is easy. I love St. Brown,
Mike,
but it's A.J. Brown.
Mike, you're too kind. You didn't have to.
And Mike, yes, thank you very much, man. Thank you. But Cade, it's A.J. Brown. I like St. Brown a lot, but he's injured, and he does have to deal in some form or fashion with Jameson Williams coming into town. A.J. Brown is
I agree with
pretty.
Yeah. He's on the better team.
For sure. A.J. Brown.
On the better team. I like. Yeah, D-Lenny, you kind of just summed it up nicely.
Absolutely. Patrick, trade opinion. Diggs, Dobbins, and A.J. Brown for Keenan Allen, Aaron Jones, and Devontae Smith.
No.
You're on the giving Diggs side. No, I wouldn't do that.
You're giving up 2 wide receiver 1s for 2 wide receiver, hopefully strong wide receiver 2s, but still wide receiver.
And your running back kind of is static. Like, we're hoping Dobbins is right around where Aaron Jones has been performing. So no, I wouldn't do that.
I'll say Aaron Jones would be an upgrade over Dobbins, but an unhealthy Keenan Allen and a Devontae Smith,
the wide receivers aren't enough to offset at all.
That's a pretty good downgrade from Diggs and AJ.
Yeah, I'm holding on to Diggs and AJ. I'm not honestly with those options, man. I'm not itching to trade. You've thrown some trade questions in here. I'm not itching to move off of Diggs and AJ Brown if I don't have to. So,
I mean, if you can
sometimes
get Kelsey,
the best thing to do is to stay
thing,
pat.
Yeah,
agreed. If you can get Kelsey, get Kelsey. But sometimes the best thing you can do is stay pat. Not make a deal.
Yeah.
Fabian, are you low on McKenzie because of Crowder is on IR and he's the slot starting wide receiver, has Casey this week? We're low on McKenzie because he's coming off a concussion, and concussions are tricky. And until we have more information on the status of what he's capable of this week, he's basically a no-go and a no-go 100% for me. I'm not counting on McKenzie. If he can turn it around quickly, coming off a concussion, I'll think about it. But right now, I know the narrative on him is good. No Crowder, starting slot receiver, Casey this week. But Khalil Shakir did fine in his absence.
Yes, he did.
So they don't necessarily need to rush McKenzie back into a full-time role either. Patrick Haas, got you. Ignatius Pennyfeather, love the name.
That's
Najee
awesome.
and Amon-Ra for JT. Yeah. Yes. You have CD and Jamar. Amon-Ra's a lot to give up, but he is an injured wide receiver right now, and you're giving up somebody who hasn't been performing very well for the guy that people were drafting 101 and just needs to get healthy. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Might it hurt until JT comes back? Sure, but I'm not expecting Amon-Ra back full power this week, and I'm not expecting full power Najee at all. So yeah, I like that deal. You have Pierce as an RB2, JT, Pierce, Jamar, and CD, PPR. Fine with it.
Yeah.
Fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah, your strength at receiver is enough to offset. I mean, amon-ra's a wide receiver 1 too, but Jonathan Taylor sounds like it's not a long-term absence that we have to be concerned about after he missed week 5, and he's got top 5 upside at the running back position. So sure,
absolutely,
sure,
absolutely. And again, man, that name is badass. Fabian,
I like the.
You're
I
very
like the
welcome.
Name,
very welcome for the answers. Hope they help.
Get to the end of the chat.
And Eno, go for it. Start Eno. And Patrick, last one. Diggs, Hunt, and AJ Brown for Smith, Keenan Allen, and Chubb. No.
No. Yeah, agreed. No. Can you keep Diggs and have him? Could you do AJ Brown and Hunt for Smith and Chubb? Probably not. I don't want Keenan Allen right now. I'm
certainly not giving up Diggs to add in Keenan Allen and to sweeten the deal. So no, I'm trying to go for a 2-for-2, not a 3-for-3 here. And I am knocking Diggs and Keenan Allen out of that deal. If you can package Brown and Hunt for Smith and Chubb, I would do that. And Kate O'Connell, thank you very much for the
thank you, man.
For the super, much appreciated. Very kind of you. Would you trade away Devontae and Jeff Wilson for Mixon and Devontae?
There might have been or is that Devontae Adams and Devontae Smith?
You're 5-0 and looking at to end of the season. Your other wide receivers are JJ, Hollywood, Samuel, other running backs, Mostert, Gibson, Brees, and Akers. Okay. If you can move Jeff Wilson.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. If you can move Hollywood, that's a solid deal. If you can move Jeff Wilson before Elijah Moore comes back, solid deal as well.
Kate
I'm not trying to move Devontae
Adams. I need some context on the Devontaes because you said Devontae twice. Are you trading away Devontae Adams? Are you trading away Devontae Smith?
And how would it be trading away Devontae Adams and getting Devontae Smith? That cannot be Devontae Parker.
Oh God, no! Oh God,
no! No. I'm not trading away Devontae Adams and Jeff Wilson for Smith and Devontae Smith.
I would trade Hollywood and Jeff Wilson for and maybe another Pete. Maybe throw in Gibson if you can, just to unload yourself from Gibson.
I'd give Hollywood and Wilson for Mixon straight up. If your running backs are Gibson, who you're not going to be able to rely upon, I think.
Fixed it.
What?
He fixed it. Trade away Devontae Adams and Jeff Wilson for Debo and Mixon.
I mean, yes, that's a tier break.
Yes.
You're gaining an RB1 from an RB2 with not a lot of shelf life, and you're basically just swapping a wide receiver 1 for a wide receiver 1. Yes.
Here's what I'm doing first, Cade. Here's what I'm doing first. I'm offering Hollywood Brown in place of Devontae Adams because, like John mentioned a little earlier, he's currently the wide receiver 6 on the season.
Yep.
We don't expect that to be sustainable with DeAndre Hopkins coming back. Could you try? Hear me out on this. This gets I'm in the weeds here a little bit, but hear me out on this. Could you do Hollywood, Jeff Wilson, and if you need to, throw in either Gibson or Akers as a throwaway third piece for Mixon and Debo? If he doesn't go for it, then Devontae and Wilson for Mixon and Debo is fine. But I would start with Hollywood, Jeff Wilson, and again, your talking point for Hollywood is he's off to a great start now. Try to get rid of him before Hopkins comes back. You're looking toward end of season anyway, right? So Hollywood
and I'm actively trying to get rid of Gibson as well, because I think Brian Robinson tanks his value. If you can get anything for Gibson, that's another guy that I'm trying to move, maybe in a separate deal. But you're 5-0, so I'm not trying to make too many moves. But I think Gibson's best days on the year are behind him. And I think Jeff Wilson, you could say the same thing for. And I think Hollywood, you can say the same thing for. So all three of those players are players I'm actively trying to get off of this team in preparation for the end of the year. So do with that what you will. But thank you very much for the super, and good luck. Let us know how it works out.
Appreciate it, Cade.
Yep.
Last thought on Patrick's trade question. I had something, but then Cade very generously sprung a super on us. Could you do like AJ Brown and Hunt? Like that you might only be able to get just Chubb, but I might do that. Chubb is the RB1 right now.
You got to throw me a little more. Throw me a little bit of a.
Maybe a lesser. Maybe I don't ask for Devontae Smith because that's.
Well, no. Maybe you ask for Keenan Allen then. If he's injured commodity, he has a wide receiver 2 floor and a wide receiver 2 ceiling when he's basically what you're getting in him when he's healthy in a high powered offense, and that could be the sweetener in that deal. I think that's what you go for.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
AJ Brown, Hunt for Chubb and Allen. I think that's equitable.
Yep.
And JT86TN ranked these waiver wire running back pickups. I would go Walker because he's a rest of season option. Then Stevenson because, to D. Linney's point, should have a hot 3-game stretch and then be reliable at least for the rest of the season. And then Mostert. Though it'd be Walker, Stevenson, Mostert. And Mike Lopez, would you do Chubb and Amari for Eckler and Brady? No, not at all.
No. Chubb is the RB1. Amari is having a very strong year. Brady is in one quarterback. I don't want Brady right now. He is not firing the way that he did last year. And that offensive line, it does not make me feel like it could get any better.
No, remember when Brady was having struggles on the Patriots because he didn't have the playmakers and the O-line was bad? Like he was a QB2. And then he went to Tampa Bay and was throwing for 700 times a year and was the QB2. Now he's dropped basically back down to QB2 value, not QB2 overall value. So, yeah, it's not good for Brady. And I don't know if it... I think a change is coming a little bit because, yes, he does have Evans and Godwin back. But I think he's missing Gronkowski. I think he's missing the 3 O-linemen that left Tampa Bay in the offseason. Yeah. It's going to be tough for Brady. If you make the Jay Taylor trade, grab Hines if dropped or Deion Jackson. Sure.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Protect
Good
your
advice.
investment. Protect your investment.
And Cade, hope that helped. Thank you for the typo correction.
Yeah, thank you, Cade.
Patrick, hopefully that helped you with all that deliberation on what you should be doing with your trade. D. Linney, Damian Pierce is 5th in rushing yards and the RB11 on the year. He's on bye this week, so try to trade for him if that owner is struggling. Great advice, D. Linney.
I like that. Give him, it's a good, No, I like that thought. Identify a team who's struggling, who has a player that can't help them this week. Yeah.
Drew L., you're in desperate need of a QB2 in your 2 QB leagues. Some trade options are Tom Brady, Tua, or Dak. Who should I go for, and how much should I give up? I don't think you should give up anything for any of those guys. Maybe Dak.
You could try a low ball offer for like a low.
Yeah, but if you're in desperate need of a QB2, it means you need him now, which means you can't afford to wait on Dak to come back.
True. So I guess it would have to be Brady of any of these.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get a Geno Smith on the cheap. I'm trying to get a Jared Goff on the cheap. Look at some of these high-performing options right now who might not ever have warrant the price of a Tom Brady or warrant the price of maybe even a Tua or a Dak right now. Like, you don't have to give up a lot relative to what he can do for you rest of season for Geno Smith. Same with Jared Goff.
Yeah.
I mean, they're even not like, it might not be pretty, but Daniel Jones is a top 18 running quarterback right now on fantasy alone. He's the QB 14. Is he putting up splash weeks? No, but he is basically guaranteed you anywhere from 13 to 21 points. which is valuable, and you can probably get Daniel Jones on the cheap right now. So I'm not going for Tom Brady, Tua, or Dak. I'm trying to get Geno, Goff, or Daniel Jones. Because I think they cost less and will give you about the same as what you're buying. And they're healthy right now. It's not somebody that technically has a higher ceiling that you're going to have to wait on in Dak. Because you're in desperate need of a QB2 in your QB2 league right now. That's my opinions. Kyle Grove, full PPR. Who are you higher on rest of season? And who do you think out of these two, man? James Robinson or Travis Etienne?
I do. I agree with D-Lin. I agree. It's Etienne. I did a week 5 players to trade for video last week. It might have been a little silly to include Najee in that video, but what I did include that I don't feel silly about is Travis Etienne. Go look at the Jaguars' schedule rest of season. It is all matchups where Jacksonville is going to have to be attempting to keep pace. Etienne's snap share has gone up since the start of the season. He has seen more work since the start of the season, and the matchups on the rest of Jacksonville's slate suggest to me that Etienne will continue to see increased opportunities and usage. That's not to say I think James Robinson is going anywhere. I think Robinson will continue to be fine. I think Etienne is the guy in PPR I prefer to have.
You have to remember, James Robinson, he's been a huge surprise over the first half of the year. But a lot of his production has come off of some chunk plays in the first 5 weeks. But you look, and he's 26th in snap share, 25th in opportunity share, 4th in red zone touches, 6th in total TDs, number 1 in stuffed runs. Like, it's gonna get worse for James Robinson before it gets better. I think he started off a lot hotter than anybody was expecting. He's going to fall back down to earth and cool off a little bit faster than people will be expecting. And by the end of the season, he will be a low-end RB2. But he started off the ceiling like an RB1. And if he's going to finish like a low-end RB2, which is what I'm projecting, he's going to have some RB3 weeks in there. And they're coming.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it's Etienne. It's not that I don't like Robinson. I think he's a very good running back. I just think he is more the RB2 in this offense than the RB1, and that'll start to show itself in weeks coming up. And the roles will pretty much switch outright. And D-Lenny, Kenny Pickett, and Fields, great options for QB2s and Superflex. Somebody else was making that argument earlier. I don't know if I would call them great options for QB2 in a Superflex. If they are your only options in a QB2 Superflex situation, then you got to go for them. Hopefully you have a better option than either of those two guys. Yeah. But we are at the bottom of the chat. Thank you guys for all your questions. I know we missed our Sunday morning streams, but we will be back to regular scheduled programming this week. No Friday stream, Saturday stream for sure with the both of us, Sunday stream for sure with the both of us. If you guys want to join the Discord, third link in the description, absolutely free. And when we are not streaming, it gives you access to not only our community to bounce questions off of, but us while we're not streaming. So something for free that is offered to you guys. So third link in the description. And yeah, we got a members only stream tomorrow. And then a members-only stream on Thursday.
Yeah, and I will be doing my box score Wednesdays tomorrow. A few of the members seem to have warmed up to that, or they like that idea. They like the deep breakdown of the box scores and the snap counts and all that good stuff. So we'll be reviewing all of that tomorrow. If anybody's interested in joining as a member, again, like John mentioned, practice squad level membership, 99 cents a month, gets you 8 additional streams a month. That includes box score Wednesdays. And John leads you into the Thursday night game on Thursdays. So if you're interested. But, yep, I'm looking forward to doing that with the members tomorrow. And then if not, that's okay. We will see y'all for Start Sit Help on Saturday and Sunday.
Absolutely, y'all. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for all the supers. Thanks for all the subs. We will see you within the next few days.
Yep.
Have a good one, y'all.
Have a good day.